we have toured the world throughout 2017, 18, and 19 with the very best drone racing teams you can find. Let us take you to where they will be racing today. That is the futuristic entrance of Salina Turda. We're in Transylvania, we're in Romania, and we start to descend. Our season started in Lax in Switzerland, 2,252 meters above sea level. We raced in Turin in Italy, we raced in Vaduz in Liechtenstein, but now we go down. This is a 20-degree slope that you walk down and the salt starts to surround you as it is drawn out of the walls by the lighting. And then this is a kilometer-long corridor used for many things, used for storage, people sheltered here previously. It goes and goes and goes towards a staircase known as the Staircase of the Rich. As you can see, the salt is more and more, and when you think you've seen it all, you complete the Staircase of the Rich and are presented with one of the most unique locations in the world. This is the Salina Turda salt mine from the 13th century, and this is the final place of the Drone Champions League in the 21st century. This is where our World Championship comes to a conclusion, racing around the chambers with the best pilots in the world. I'm Matt Andrews, I have Martijn de Kemp with me, and we are here to bring you the final day of our 2019 season. Martijn, I am going to miss this. We will be back.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so wonderful to, DCL always finds these amazing locations. And for anyone that has the chance just to visit us as a race, but Salina Turda by itself, I would definitely recommend you to come down here because it's amazing.
It's truly unique, and when you hear the word salt mine, that maybe leads you to think of something very different to then what you experience when you get here. And amongst it, there are some very modern things. One of them is that World Championship trophy with the name of XBlades Racing on it from when they won it in 2017 and 2018. And after yesterday's Drone Grand Prix in Salina Turda, a name is going to be added again.
XBlades are DCL champions for the 3rd season running.
Amazing. I mean, I think you can maybe do it once by fluke, but to do it 3 times in a row shows that we continue to be the best, and we proved it once again.
The British team guaranteed themselves the trophy by beating their closest rivals, Apex Racing, 4-1 in the semi-final, and then confirmed their supremacy by winning the grand final against Veloce, 4-2.
It was very good teamwork. I'm very happy to win with my team XBlades. Thanks to my team.
The wildcard team found their freestyle skills second best to the Koreans in the quarterfinals. But underground and overground, XBlades have lit up the season.
Oh, it's a huge celebration to all of them. It's a massive Christmas present, actually.
So we had one Drone Grand Prix of Salina Turda yesterday. We always do 2 races in all of our locations, and it was XBlades Racing who came out on top again. Veloce, though, gave them a great run for it in our grand final, and Apex were 3rd. That means that XBlades Racing are confirmed to be the 3-time Team Drone Champions League World Champions. Out of reach now for our final day of racing, securing the title for an unprecedented 3rd time, and in the hands of Luke Bannister when he raced in our individual competition in 2016, 4 times. Apex can be 2nd, but Veloce can say something about that. They'll need an amazing result. They'll not only have to win today, but Apex will have to crash out of things in the quarterfinals. And Drone Sports are still in the fight for 3rd and 4th as well. 2nd, 3rd, and 4th up for grabs. But you're looking at a world champion from France on the right there, 14-year-old Kylian Rousseau, along with his teammate Gary Kent on the left. They won the championship again yesterday. So today the pressure is off of them. What do you think we'll get, Martijn, from a team who, they want to win everything they're in. They'll want to win today, but they don't have to worry about performance to the extent that maybe was on their minds.
Yeah, as their team manager mentioned yesterday, Richard, he said it's balls to the wall. And I think that's exactly what we're going to expect from them today. The pressure is off. Now it's about honor, and it's about showing what they got without any pressure. So I think we're going to have some amazing races from them.
They are so good, of course, at dealing with pressure, but there's less of it today. Apex, and you just see a couple of the pilots chatting there. There's Eric and the guys getting ready. Here's Luke and Richard, third stage, looking very relaxed. Yes, there you are. We see you. So, races to come today on our final stop of 2019. A lot of single heats and big heats, and if you haven't seen our racing before, here's how it all works.
8 teams with 4 pilots per team compete in all DCL races. 7 teams are permanent, battling for the World Championship. 1 wildcard team is selected for each event and competes for a single race win. Qualifying is a series of time trials on the simulator, DCL the game. The times set by each team decide the draw for the race. Run through the real track over 3 rounds: quarterfinals, semi-finals and the grand final. In each round, 2 teams go head-to-head over 5 runs. Runs 1 to 4 are called single heats, 1 pilot against another. The winner of each heat earns 1 point for their team. Heat 5 is known as the Big Heat, where all 8 team pilots fly, 4 against 4. The winners receive 1 point, with bonus points if pilots from the same team finish in consecutive positions in the top 4. The teams also score finisher points for completing heats and training rounds. These are important because they decide the winner of a heat if 2 teams are level on the same number of points. The team with the most points after 5 runs advances to the next round. Or if it's the final round, they win the Drone Grand Prix. The top 5 teams score points on a sliding scale from 250 to 80. Each location stages 2 races, so pilots can double up on maximum attack. And the team with the most points at the end of the season is crowned world champions.
World champions indeed. Absolutely unprecedented and unstoppable. So we have 35 more races for you today. 4 single heats and a big heat in all of our quarters, semis and the grand final. And keeping an eye on everything with a team of spotters backstage. This is our chief judge, Lucas Baumann, who had a somewhat easier day of things yesterday. Everybody seemed to be behaving and keeping the track limits, but not necessarily power limits. We had a few pilots disqualified for using too much power on their drones. A significant number of them compared to other races. And I expect Lucas is having an easier time of it today, as our pilots will know when to exceed, which is never. That is the Ferris wheel that they'll need to fly around. While we're keeping track of what they do, here's what the spotters have to contend with, along with Lucas Baumann.
Flying clean and fast is the dream in the Drone Champions League, but always following the rules. Rule 1. Teams design and build their own drones. Some parts are standard, but there are strict limits on weight, power, battery life and LED performance. Pilots have to wait for the green light before taking off. Start too soon and it's a red card, disqualification from the heat. If a drone doesn't start because of a technical problem, the pilot can use a spare. If that fails, it's a red card. Each air gate has to be passed in the correct order and in the right direction. If pilots miss a gate, they have to go back and try again before moving on to the next one. Continuing after missing a gate is a red card offence. If they crash, the pilots decide themselves if their drone is fit to continue. If all pilots crash in the heat, the one who flew furthest takes the point. The winner of the heat is the first drone through the Red Bull finish gate. The pilots are ranked according to their finishing times. Teams can protest during a heat if they feel a rule's been broken or wasn't applied correctly. If the chief judge upholds the protest, the team will get a rerun. If the case is rejected, no more protests are allowed. Penalty cards will be issued if rules are broken. A yellow card is a warning. 2 yellows add up to red and disqualification. 2 reds add up to a blue when a pilot is expelled from the race weekend.
So that's what our contenders have to deal with in our air, while the guys on the ground behind the stage are keeping a good eye on them. And the power thing was interesting yesterday, wasn't it, Martin? We did have a number of pilots DQ'd for that. Do you want to talk a little bit about what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So what happens is, in between the battery and the drone itself, there is a monitor that enables the organization to track the amount of power that's drawn. And yeah, some drones indeed were over the limit.
Yeah.
And it's pretty tough for the pilots also to make sure that the drone is built in a way that it's within the limits in a safe manner.
Yeah, of course they have designed these quads and powered them and chosen all the components with this power limit in mind.
Yep.
But it's still easy to spike it over that.
Exactly.
We do take things like impacts and crashes into account. So obviously that can change it a little bit. But what you'll see are these drones racing up to 140 kilometers an hour around Salina Turda. There's one on a starting block ready. Let's show you what's in front of it and the pilot's view with the chief from Quad Force 1.
So here we are at the start of the track. We're going to launch off the Drone Champions League start block, coming to our first gate of the track. The DCL flag, making a 180-degree left-handed turn around it, into the face of the Breitling gate, exiting 180 degrees, wall riding the side of the salt mine into this elevated DCL gate, 20 feet off the ground, mounted to the side of the salt mine. One of my favorite places, feels like threading the needle. Into the next DCL flag, making a 90-degree right-handed turn to it, into the DCL Ferris wheel. We're gonna enter through the left two legs, have a small straightaway. We're gonna make a 180-degree turn to the right. You have to watch out for the Ferris wheel crates, as those will sneak out and get you. Trust me, I met a few in practice. But after we do that, we're gonna do a corkscrew around the right side of the Drone Champions League Ferris wheel. And after we exit this is coming up to one of the hottest parts on the track. Diving down. You can really see how deep down here we are. Once we make it all the way to the bottom of the huge drop, we're gonna do a split S into the backside of the I-time gate, taking advantage of the small straightaway, gaining a lot of speed for our 270-degree sweeper, the final object before we have a huge climb to the top and onto our next lap. The only thing that we're going to deviate on the third lap is after we come out of the Drone Champions League Ferris wheel, instead of taking the big dive down to the salt mine, we're going to be racing for all the marbles, head-to-head racing, last-minute passes of the 2019 Drone Champions League season into the final gate, the Red Bull Crash Gate, where everything happens.
Quite a lot does indeed happen there. Thank you to the Chief who's taken us around all of our tracks this season. Qualifying based on yesterday's results has come out like this. We'll start off with Drone Sports from Russia against China Dragons. That was 4th and 5th yesterday. XBlades Racing have Quad Force 1 in quarterfinal 2. That's a thrilling encounter to look forward to. Apex Racing will try and secure 2nd place. To do that, they need to knock out DMM Raiden Racing from Japan, who have not scored a single point this season. That may be their last chance to do so. And then Veloce Racing, the runners-up of yesterday, will face off against our wildcard team, Wild Prop, in quarterfinals 4. A lot of fantastic racing to enjoy wherever you are with us. Thank you for watching us live, television, YouTube, and Facebook, all over the world, and indeed underground here in Romania. Let's go racing. Time to send it in quarterfinal 1. Thomas Petersons from Latvia with Konstantin Kosolopov, Platon Maximov, and completing the lineup from Poland, Pavel Leszak. The 4 brilliant pilots of the Russian team of Drone Sports. Nikolai with us again. So, hello. Final day of racing, nice hat.
Thank you very much.
All right, what are you pilots going to give us today? Are we going to get you through to another final? It's been a while since we've seen you in one.
Let me speak from my heart, because today is the most important day for our team. I think we're a little bit stressed, but we are confident still. And we know that a lot of friends, a lot of our families, a lot of people are watching on our succeed from other side of the screen. So please cross the finger and wish us luck. We will do our best, and we will try to win in every heat, every point that we can. Thank you very much, guys.
Good luck, Nikolai. Good luck to all of your pilots. They have given us some thrilling races this season and were in contention for the championship before yesterday's racing got underway. Let's see what they've got here against this team, who are coming also from far away in the east. Dennis Hockman flies with them. Daniel Eyre joins us from Australia, down in Newcastle in Australia. Ka-Kei Leung is here with Ronnie Chow. They together are the China Dragons. Manuel, welcome to the final day of the season. Your pilots always look so relaxed and happy to fly. What do we feel about the last day? What do we expect from you?
Well, you gotta expect a great performance, Matt, from our pilots, and we're so confident. The last days we were so cold on the outside, and we trained so much, and we tried to win this heat. And if we not win this heat, we try to send them to Salt Lake City with mid-airs and get it safe.
Okay, all right, it's a fight coming. Good luck, Manuel. Good luck, China Dragons. Ooh, some intentional fighting coming along. Right, so here we go then, ladies and gentlemen. Quarterfinal number 1 between Drone Sports from Russia and China Dragons from China. Red for the Russians, starting off with Platon Maximov. He got DQ'd in his first single heat of the whole day yesterday for using too much power. Karke Leung was in an incredible single heat in the quarterfinals, all the way until the final turn.
10 seconds countdown.
So let's see what we get from these two pilots. Our first single heat of the last day of racing. Red for Maximov, the orange drone for Karke Leung. And a good start with only 400ths of a second between the two of them as they launch and make their way through the Breitling Gate. Then they fly through the DCL gate, hanging on the wall of the mine before going underneath this Ferris wheel. A big, hard, long 360, and then a tighter one on the inside, which Maximov has caught part of the gantry of the wheel, and that has crashed him down. Karke Leung continuing to fly.
Gate.
That is Maximov's view live as he's flying it, or rather not now as he's in a net. Karke Leung gets to close that out as the race is over. Maximov is going to have to get that drone recovered. I think it's very near to, in fact, race control behind our stage. That's a little bit disappointing for him, but Karke Leung gets a point for his team, making it 1 for the China Dragons over DSG.
Yeah, very unfortunate by Maximov. We see many pilots struggle here underneath the Ferris wheel. It's very, very tight cornering. And he clipped the bottom of the fence there, I think. Yep. Spiraled him out of control, ending up in the nets. As you mentioned earlier, it's important for drone sports, especially this race, because they are so close to 3rd place, but they do have to make it past China Dragons. So let's see what happens in the next heat.
Yeah, you're quite right, Martin. Before our racing started, they were mathematically able to win the entire World Championship yesterday, although it was not entirely in their hands. Instead, now, they could actually finish the season in 4th and not even be on the podium at the end of today. Konstantin Kosolopov was disappointed with himself yesterday. Ronnie Chow races against him for China Dragons, ready to fly. Goggles on. So those are FPV goggles. They see through a camera on the drone. That is exactly what they fly with, and we show you that live here from Romania. So there they go, with Kosolopov having the better start over Ronnie Chow, and he's starting to move that away. Chow doing a tighter turn over the Breitling Gate. It's a little bit cautious from both of them so far. Under the wheel with a big right 360 and then a tighter 360 on the other side of that. And we dive. It's 40 meters down here into the Teresa mine from the Rudolph mine, which is where they head back up to now. And we'll start on lap number 2 between Kosolopov and Chow. Kosolopov still in the lead, but Chow doing that tight turn on the Breitling Gate, and this time had the lead. Now he's got a longer route round over the amphitheater, and he's got back in the lead again. He conceded a little bit of ground, but he turned that into speed. Kosolopov is with him, and Chow and Kosolopov round the island, neck and neck. They'll come out of that with Kosolopov taking a shorter route, but Chow has still got the speed. He's got the lead now. The Breitling Gate is a very good turn for him. Again, it has been every single time. The lead is pulled away. Kosolopov's got to catch him on this tight turn here. Chow doesn't make the finish. Face in his hands, all of it until the end. That drone hasn't crossed the finish line. It's not in the Red Bull Gate. Oh, Ronnie. The point goes to Konstantin Kosolopov, as Ronnie Chow had everything but the finish at the last lap there.
Yeah, Ronnie Chow was absolutely killing it up until that last moment. This is where he overtook Kosolopov. You see him pushing for that gate. Beautiful, beautiful push. That's a very good point to overtake your opponents, in my opinion. Don't do it in the Ferris wheel. And Ronnie Chow clipping the bottom of the of the Red Bull crash gate, even though he was in front.
He knew it was coming. He knew he couldn't hang around. Oh, that one hurts.
Yeah, very,
it's not the first
very
time.
Unfortunate.
That's happened to a lot of our pilots, but not here. That's the first one here in Salina Turda.
Yeah, the margin of error is just so tiny, and yeah, even a small mistake, yeah, can cost you everything.
Now, these teams have never actually met in our season so far, so these pilots have never raced off against each other. Now, Dennis Hockman from Germany race off against Thomas Petersens from Latvia. Petersens flying for Drone Sports, Hockman flying for China Dragons. Petersens in the lead of him so far. Early days in this race, though. We'll come back around the wheel. Good lines for both of them, and Hockman takes the lead. Diving down for the 40-meter drop to that split S that you have to go through, and you heard a collision there. It has sent Hockman down onto the ground. He wants to recover that, but it's not coming back to life for him. He's lost his video picture, which means Petersens being told by Lucas Baumann there, you can come to the finish gate, the race is over. Oh, that's so disappointing for Dennis Hockman. He's such a great flyer, but he hasn't had enough air time really in his races.
Yeah, he's a great pilot indeed. I think, from my perspective, I saw a mid-air down at the lake, coming through the gate. What I also noticed is that Petersens' camera angle is way, way high. Yeah, this is where we see the jump. Beautiful, beautiful line here by Hockman. He ended up a bit on the left. Oh no, it was no mid-air. No, he crashed into the wooden construction down there.
He's clipped the... Petersens, I think, almost clipped the inside of the top of the I-time gate and managed to keep that going.
Yeah, that's because his camera angle is so high from Petersens. I was already wondering how he would do that, and he was struggling indeed a little bit on the bottom of the lake. Yeah, I don't have the time to explain it now, but the higher your camera angle is, the harder it is just to keep your drone flying horizontally.
But it's a choice that the pilots make. They set that themselves based on how much they think they're going to attack, how much they're going to pitch their drone forwards.
Yeah.
Obviously, these drones, to accelerate forwards, they pitch forwards, which means if your camera was just facing straight ahead, it would be facing down to the ground as you pitch it.
Exactly.
Daniel Ayer races against Pavel Leshak in the fourth single heat of quarterfinal number 1. And Daniel Ayer is a little bit behind Leshak, and Leshak was very hesitant out of the Breitling turn. Under the wheel we go, 1 in, 1 out. Both out underneath the hurdles that you have to do on the exit as well. And Leshak is somewhere ahead of Daniel Ayer now. It's nearly 2 seconds between them. Daniel Ayer was the #1 pick in the DCL draft earlier on this year, when gamers who play our simulated DCL the game got to qualify for a draft pick where the owners of all of our World Championship teams picked from them for their pilots for the 2019 season. And next year, when we return with our World Championship, that is your route in. DCL the game is released on the 28th of January next year, and our draft will be a couple of months later. If you'd like to fly with a World Championship team, you need to get DCL the game and get your practice in. Daniel Ayer did it. Daniel Ayer now racing for China Dragons, but Pavel Leshak beats him in single heat number 4 and gives Drone Sports a 3-1 lead. Nice little respect between the two pilots there. Daniel Ayer is always enjoying himself.
Yeah, it was great flying on behalf of Pavel Leshak. I saw some amazing racing lines there. He didn't make any mistakes, and Daniel Ayer had to take more and more risk to try to catch him, eventually leading up to him crashing. This is where you see him absolutely punching. I think it's the Ferris wheel again. They got the better of one of our pilots. That's not a place to push, you know. You have to play it a little bit safe. Make sure that you line up your quad perfectly and don't take any risk there. Don't overtake, because that's just not the place. There's so little room underneath the Ferris wheel.
Yeah, it's dangerous, isn't it? There's a lot of gantries and things. Obviously, some of it is very visible, but if you clip any of the very visible parts, you do tend to fly into something else that you don't want to hit. We have some incredible freestyle footage of that from our wildcard team who are flying around it while riding on the Ferris wheel. It's a permanent fixture here at the Salina Turda mine. So here's our big heats, the first one of our final day. 3-1 for Drone Sports, and they are 10-9 ahead in finisher points. So what that means is China Dragons have to come in first and second now in this big heat. All 8 pilots will fly. China Dragons will get 1 point if they win the big heat. They'll get 2 if they can come in first and second. Then we will look at finisher points if it's tied on 3-all. And if China Dragons come in first, second, and third, they will go through to the semi-finals. Drone Sports win this, it's theirs. China Dragons looking for a minimum then of 1 and 2 in orange.
Yeah, as I look at the finisher points, I can see it on the top left of the screen. I see that Drone Sports has 10 finisher points right now, and China Dragons has 9. So it could mean if China Dragons still takes first and second, but Drone Sports are able to get enough finisher points in that big heat, that won't be enough. So I would say China Dragons, go for it, and don't just go for first and second, but go for maybe first, second, third, and fourth.
Yeah, why not? Take it all.
Take it all.
Yeah, it's interesting tactics. We've discussed it throughout 2019. What do you do in a big heat? Well, the team who are behind, you have to get up there. Capable of doing it, I think, based on the performances we've seen. Certainly a few of their pilots very good around this course. Everybody leaves and gets into the fight. Red and orange make it all the way through Breitling. We've got a couple of drones, one of each, clipping the DCL gate on the wall. And under the wheel, there's a clatter of drones and, well, wheel. Ronnie Chow is in the lead for China Dragons. That's the first point they need. And a second one has moved up into second place. That is exactly what they have to do. Behind them are the Russians in third and fourth and fifth. But 1 and 2 need to be China Dragons, and that is what's happening right now. Chow dives down to the Teresa mine through the I-time gate on that big split S turn. He's got it all to himself. Nobody's down there with him. Second and third, Konstantin Kosolopov and Daniel Ayer are fighting it out for second and third. You see them exit from the dive. Meanwhile, Chow is looking like the first point will definitely be his, but he's got to make this finish. He does. You see him slow it to get it. Who is second? It is China Dragons. Kosolopov rolls it in third. Maximov brings it in fourth. This is very important. Finisher points awarded to who gets the drones in the finish gate. So you see on the stage, nobody is quite sure yet who's in the semi-finals. It's tied on heat points. China Dragons did it. They got first and second. Who's got the most finisher points? Before we find out, let's ride.
Yeah, Pavel Leshak, I think the fastest pilot from Drone Sports. He was going guns through the wall, clipping the side of that side gate there, the DCL side gate. And Ronnie Chow had an amazing race. He was leading after the first lap. He was able to keep it very smooth and steady in the second lap and got the victory. Also, China Dragons got second place, but now it's going to be up to finisher points. I think it's looking good for China Dragons, but we need to have confirmation on this.
So it was 10-9 to Drone Sports before that big heat. And I'm pretty confident that each team has picked up at least 2 from first, second, third, and fourth.
If that is
so that
true,
would still mean Drone Sports. The question is, did any of the other drones clean that finish? Because some of them were down and some of them were a long way behind. Did we get a 5th? Did we get a 6th? That's what's being absolutely verified now. I think it's going to come down literally to who came in 5th in a big heat.
Yes.
So the finisher points are being calculated. It's Dennis and his team on the stage working it out. Let us know in the chat with us on YouTube and Facebook and around the world. Who do you think's got this? Who do you want to get this? Danny's joining us from Canada. Wishing good luck to everybody. Welcome to the final day. Fabian is with us, our race director, who's not well enough today. We wish you the best, Fabian. We miss you very dearly here at DCL. Look at the pressure there. Pavel just willing his team. There is Chow making that finish, which he absolutely had to secure. And indeed, if he'd got it in a single heat earlier on as well, it'd be a very different story, certainly for them. For definite into the semis. 2 for orange, 1 red has come in. There's the second. We know that's 2 finisher points each. Are there any more? Because if it's just them, Drone Sports go through by the slimmest of margins. I'm not sure there are any more orange drones getting into that finish.
I think I only saw 1.
Nikolai hovering for Drone Sports, wanting to know. Finisher points have to be confirmed. You hear it there?
Yep.
That's on Thomas with their guys, Konstantin and Pavel. They want to win this.
Yeah, and it's very important for Drone Sports because they need this win to make it to 3rd place in the overall season standings, that is.
Live on our stage, underground, Lucas Baumann, our chief judge, will tell us who's in the semi-finals.
It's 3-3 on heat points, 11-11 on finisher points. So we had to use the qualification times. Drone Sports has the faster qualification times and advances into the semifinals.
Oh my God. I think that's the closest decision we've ever had in the quarterfinals.
I think maybe in the history of DCL, we've only ever once had that situation. I already said the slimmest of margins. Indeed, it was slimmer than that. They did manage to tie it on finisher points, which means China Dragons did get a 5th place there. That tied it on finishers. Now we just have to look at qualifying. That's the only thing left to settle these teams. China Dragons trudge off the stage. I mean, so close. The Drone Sports live to race again, and China Dragons end their season. Oh, that's tough for them. That's going to be tough for Ronnie as well. So close to winning that single heat for his team.
Absolutely.
Just missing the finish at the end. If he'd got it, they'd be in the semis. Wow. Oh, drama already, and it's just the first quarterfinal of the day. So we'll look for quarterfinal number 2 to see if it can deliver anything like that exciting. Well, one team in it. They're only the 3-time reigning world champions. I'm talking about Brett Collis. I'm talking again about Gary Kent. Have you heard of this man? Of course, he's Luke Bannister, together with Killian Russo, the new 2019 World Champions of XBlades Racing. Dominic is back with us. Dominic, congratulations again to you and your team. So today, how's everyone feeling? Relaxed or just tired from celebrating?
We didn't celebrate that much tonight. We saved that all for the after-show party tonight. So we were just fixing our quads that broke yesterday and being as prepared as humanly possible for today. The heat is still on.
You see, the heat is indeed still on. We are very excited to see what happens between you and your American rivals, because their opponents in this quarterfinal, they're Quad Force 1. Alex Campbell, the chief, with Evan Turner. Soren Anderson flies with them alongside Corey Ibanez together. Quad Force 1 and Preston Garrison leading them on stage. Preston, the season ends today, and after it's been a heartbreaking one for you and your guys, are we ready to show us everything you've got?
Well, somehow we got the short end of the stick, but we're here to not make it easy for them and hopefully take it from them.
Yep. Everybody would love to see the very best of Quad Force 1 today. Good luck, Preston. It has been such a tough season for such incredible pilots. Technical problems have plagued them. Back in Turin on our 2 races in Italy, they basically just couldn't fly. When we were in Vaduz, they thought that was all fixed and had more issues there. Yesterday, Martin, it's not really a technical problem for them as it has been previously, but the results still weren't there.
Yeah, they were unlucky. They
10 seconds
some
countdown.
Some crashes, but I hope they will get it together today.
We'd love to end the season showing the best of every pilot who is here. Gary Kent with Corey Ibanez in single heat number 1. Corey started off well yesterday, but in his quarterfinal single heat crashed down on the islands. Eventually got the heat point though after his opponent was DQ'd. So let's see what happens between Ibanez and Kent. The dive, 2 different approaches for them, but coming through the I-time gate with a 1/5 of a second. Ibanez still in the lead over Gary Kent, and they'll climb. Kent's got him on the rise, Ibanez has got him on the turn. Into lap number 2 we go. Ibanez in dark blue, Quad Force 1, and the light blue drone of Gary Kent is seeing him lighting up his view in front. We're on board with Gary on that dive down at I-time. They're so close. Coming through the gate, neck and neck, air sharing the lift upwards. It's going to come down to the wire, isn't it? Ibanez and Kent, nothing in between them. Ibanez with a much tighter turn. Kent with more speed. They've come together and Kent has passed him. Kent's in the finish, Ibanez as well. And you see Ibanez go, oh, Gary. That's dirty, he says. Oh, and mid-air right at the end, but I'm so pleased to see those pilots fight throughout and indeed both finish. That's what we want from the last day of racing.
Yeah, it's nearly impossible to beat a pilot like Gary Kent, and Ibanez got super close to it. I think indeed it was a bit of a mid-air in that very last corner, which pushed Ibanez out of his line. This is where we have Gary and Ibanez neck and neck racing, going up. You see them just vertically side by side. Gary Kent here. Yeah, Ibanez had the tighter line there. And then there's a mid-air, and Gary Kent got the better of it. Ibanez was thrown off his line there.
You've got to enjoy
Gary Kent.
What it means to these guys, and it is really good to see Corey and his team at Quad Force 1 attacking this with no pressure on them. Their season's been so disappointing, but they are always smiling, always ready to send it and show us what they can do. The drones have let them down. Well then, let's see what Luke Bannister can do against Evan Turner. Brilliant pilots on both sides again. When they raced, the one time these teams have met, which was in the grand final of the first day, it was Luke who won. And he leaves Evan Turner behind. He's still on the blocks. Turner's not starting. The protest flag is being grabbed. We haven't seen any of those yet. Over our 2 days of racing in Salina Turda, and Bannister continues to race around in case Evan Turner does start the launch.
Number 2 into the finish gate.
But as you can see, Bannister being told there the race is over. But I imagine from the way Evan Turner reacted to that, and his drone is still on the blocks. Video picture in, but it's not flying. Preston's got the protest flag in his hand, so they're going to lodge a protest, I guess, for video issues. I don't know, they've got video.
I can see that they have video on the feed, but...
Preston's going to lodge a protest here, which means they're asking for a rerun. They're asking for that to be taking place again. For now, Bannister will say the heat point is going to go to him, but if the judges deem that to be a problem that isn't Evan Turner or Quad Force 1's fault, but instead track-related, start-related in some way, the rerun will be granted. We'll leave that for Lucas and his team to figure out.
Yeah, the pilots usually know what's up. If it's a fault on the drone side or a technical issue. So the fact that they are raising a protest right now, it's probably because they feel that it's not their fault that the drone couldn't take off. Could be a problem with delivering the video channel to the pilot's goggles. We'll have to see.
While this is getting worked out, welcome to everybody joining us here on YouTube and Facebook. Busiv FPV on YouTube wanted a shout out. Well, you're going to have to earn it. Oh, he's watching with his wife and boy at home. Here's your shout out then, Busiv. Welcome to the family watching. So glad to have you with us. We love having young fans watching as well. Make some noise for your teams. Thank you to everybody joining us. Kirill with us as well. People hoping the freestyle team later on can really show us what they can do. So if you'd like to join in, of course, we are live everywhere we go on YouTube and Facebook /Drone Champions League. But you can also find out behind the scenes and see interviews with pilots on our Instagram channel, Drone Champions League, and we're on Twitter at Drone Champions L, because they limit names. As I said, we love having young fans here. Welcome. Good to see you. I hope you're cheering on these pilots. They will hear you on that stage and they will race as hard as they can. A nice audience joining us 150 meters underground in this incredible mix of a 13th century phenomenal tourist attraction and a 21st century live sport. Here is a great one. It's Brett Collis against Alex Campbell. To the sky they both go with Brett Collis slightly in the lead, Campbell behind him. Under the wheel, not an issue for either of these. Collis and Campbell. Collis now extending away from Alex Campbell. He's attacking the dive. But Collis has already made the I-time gate and Campbell has missed it. He's gone back for it and that's cost him loads of time. And as Campbell now rises out of the chamber, you know that Collis is already half the way round the higher section. He'll head towards the dive as Campbell is over the amphitheatre and giving us everything he's got around the wheel. Collis through the I-time gates around the seating area down there on the island and rises up as Campbell comes down 5.91 seconds between them. Collis through DCL, it is very unlike him to make a mistake at any point in a race, even when he's under pressure, under the hurdle, out of the wheel, and in the Red Bull finish gate. No mistakes there. Just a third heat point for the British team. In comes Alex Campbell, finishing a race. So pleased to see him racing hard like that. He's going to be a little bit disappointed with the course the whole season, but we get a finish out of him in his single heat. That's good flying from him. Just a difficult approach on the I-time gate, going a little bit wrong for him earlier on. Brett wins it.
Yeah, Brett is definitely one of the best pilots we have here at DCL. And I didn't see him make any mistakes. Very nice cornering there. Couple of issues with Alex Campbell, especially down near the lake. When he right after the drop, you have to do a split S, or you actually have to go through a gate, and that's where we saw Alex Campbell had to basically redo that corner. And that cost him a lot of time, a couple of seconds, and yeah, it's almost impossible to catch Brett Collis after that.
3-0 for XBlades Racing as we head into single heat number 4. Welcome to my good friend Emzo, who's joining us. Where are you right now, Devin Becker? Are you back home in the States or out in Poland? He's a very good friend of mine who commentates with me on esports. He's joining in with our fun. Dwayne is with us as well, long-term friend of DCL. Hello, Nicola. Thanks for joining in as well. So XBlades 3-0 up over Quad Force 1 in our quarterfinals here. Now, I hear that the protest lodged from Quad Force 1 for single heat number 2. It's been found that the drone isn't working, so Evan Turner right there is not going to get a rerun from that, which means the points are going to stay 3-0 in the hands of XBlades. I think that's Campbell talking to Turner there about, oh, they said what was it? No, your rerun is not coming. XBlades continue in 3-0. We'll go to the 4th single heat before all 8 pilots fly at the same time. In this, we're going to see Kylian Rousseau, Dark X from France, against Fat Kid
countdown.
FPV. That is Soren Monroe-Anderson. He didn't get a fly in a single heat yesterday after he was DQ'd for power, excessive, and safety reasons. But here we go. Rousseau and Anderson both out of the blocks in 1900s of a second. Absolute dead heat between them, but Rousseau starts to leave Anderson behind as Anderson had trouble at Breitling and is left over half a second behind. Now, dives, goes Rousseau towards the lake through the I-time gate and flying over that. That is an 8-meter deep salt lake. That is the world's most deadliest thing if you are a racing drone. Second lap, not a problem for Rousseau as he comes over the amphitheater turn and goes under the wheel. First 360 and then the tightest second one, and he's now 5 seconds ahead of Soren Anderson. I-time split S is not a problem, but you may have heard a clatter. It is Anderson coming down on the higher section, and as he recovers the drone, makes his way back under the wheel. He is only just trying to find his way to the dive. He's making it now. Meanwhile, Rousseau comes around the wheel 1 and 2 times. Into the finish gate he goes. That'll be 4 for XBlades. Anderson still flying. That's his view right now in the dark blue as he's coming up around the wall of the the mine up here. The wheel has got him, though. And he wasn't even in contention there. The race is already over. What he needed to get was a finisher point for his drone. But in this final day of a World Championship season, he's trying to show us the speed he's got. And it's cost him as we're just looking up at a Ferris wheel instead of the inside of a finish gate. Goggles going back on now as a big heat is coming up soon. And it is looking very, very much like Quad Force 1 are going to go out in yet another quarterfinals. That has just been the news of their entire season. But let's remember, these two teams raced in the last race of 2018, the World Championship final. On the final day, it was XBlades who were world champions, then Quad Force 1 were the runners-up. This season, it's been entirely different.
Yeah, we could see a little bit of stress, I think, in the fingers of Soren Anderson. Actually, the Ferris wheel got the better of him twice. He crashed here the first lap and into the DCL banner. And in the second lap, he crashed at the exact same point. It's not an easy track.
No. XBlades, of course, flew almost this track in 2017. Not all of those pilots.
That's true.
But we raced here in 2017. The higher section, as we fly around the wheel, that's all identical to our 2017 course, but the section around the lake is a little bit different. It's sort of in the opposite direction. So that is new to them. But of course, they all did their qualifying and they all practiced for this. In DCL, the game, it's coming out on the 28th of January, our simulator. Accessible to everybody. You can play it with keyboard and mouse, if you would like. You can play it with a pad. You can play it on PC and Mac. You can play it on PlayStation 4 and Xbox as well. 28th of January is when you can get your hands on DCL, the game. Whether you're an arcade racer or whether you want to go full send it with your own real drone racing controller. It can do all of that. 28th of January. Get in there because you need your practice time if you want to race for real in 2020. More about that later on. Great to see so many of the drone racing community joining us here on YouTube and Facebook. Welcome to everybody. It's always a celebration of live drone racing, and this is our final day. Gonna miss this.
Yeah, me too.
Love talking about how awesome these pilots are. Should we have some more blue racing?
Countdown.
Here it comes. Quad Force 1. If you come in first, second, third, and fourth now, you'll get 5 points in the Big Heat. You'll go to the semis, and we will go nuts. Well, that was an overshoot for a couple of the XBlades drones as they headed to the amphitheater instead of around a turn. What else is going to come to this? Well, Alex Campbell is already down for Quad Force 1 along with Killian Rousseau. Soren Anderson falls. So we have 5 drones still flying. Brett Collis and Corey Ibanez are going to give us a fight. Ibanez is taking the lead from Brett under the wheel. Will come out again and head down for the second dive. Ibanez is done. He was fighting hard. It's only Evan Turner for Quad Force 1, and that's gone. Gary, Luke, and Brett, legends of DCL and the world of drone racing. The only 3 still flying in this now. Look at them, spread out like it's a formation. We'll go 1, here comes 2. It's Collis, then Kent. Bannister comes in as well. 1, 2, and 3. Fantastic work from XBlades Racing, getting 3 points there, which makes it 7-0. Quad Force 1 and 2019, it's the end. I think I'll be glad to see the back of this season. I can't wait to see what we get from them. Love seeing these pilots fly. Runners-up of the 2018 World Championship, racing with XBlades to the very end. But this year, this year has just been an entirely different game.
It was terrible for them, yeah, absolutely. But I do want to point out, however, that while XBlades makes it look easy, Quad Force 1 has all the talent in the world. They're absolutely phenomenal pilots. Somehow it just didn't work out for them this season, but I really, really hope we can welcome them back next year.
Yeah, big changes, I think, will come. Partly to the lineup, partly to the tech.
Yep.
Needs to be done. We know there's such capable pilots, but it's no good when your drone doesn't launch. Let's go live to our stage underground here in Salina Turda with Gary Kent. Hello, Gary, 3-time world champion. That looked like fun. We know that you're not a team who really suffer from pressure whenever you're racing. We know that you're not a team who worry about things like world championships, but you've got it. So today you're really just gloves off, here for fun.
Yeah, that's right. We're here. We're just going to have fun. We're going to enjoy the racing, and yeah, make the most of it. So that was some great racing. I really enjoyed that. Finally, didn't have any crashes in my one we won, so I got to race.
Yes, and we love to see it, Gary. We do. By the way, I was plugging a 2020 calendar for you yesterday. Are you going to get on with making that anytime soon?
I don't know what you've got in your bedroom, but
got him. Good. Gary, we'll see you in the semi-finals.
Thank you.
Yeah, he had no idea about that, but merch will be available soon. Oh, they'll leave the stage, and quarterfinal 3 will loom, and it gets a bit more serious. XBlades Racing, absolutely unstoppable, 3-time team world champions, 4 times. If you look back at our 2016 season, when we only had 2 races in the calendar, we raced in Reuter in Austria and here. That was when we had individual pilots, and racing for XBlades individually Luke Bannister, now 4-time DCL champion after he won that one as well. Hurdle is getting put back up there. That's the one you have to fly over on the first turn under, yes, a real Ferris wheel underground. And let's take a look at how things have worked out so far. Drone Sports and XBlades Racing is an exciting semi-final number 1. We have DMM Raiden Racing. How do we sum this up? How do we sum this up? Well, let's meet the pilots and then tell you what's at stake. Dane Grace with their new pilot, Mark Espuna. Timothy Trowbridge, and completing the lineup, Eric Holden. Together, Apex Racing. Glenn's with us on stage. Glenn, yesterday, sadly, the World Championship slipped from your grasp. Today, second is almost guaranteed yours. How are the team feeling?
Yeah, so just as you said, we lost the chance to get first, but we have to fight for second now. So we basically have to beat DMM Raiden Racing in this quarterfinal to be completely sure that we get second. So that's what we're going to do. Gloves off today.
Here we go. Looking forward to seeing it. We had such thrilling racing from you yesterday. Good luck to the team in white. They are 240 points ahead of their nearest rivals. They'll get 250 if they win it today. Anything, though, will secure them that spot. Here is the beautiful yellow DMM Raiden Racing drone, and the guys flying them. Ben Mortensen from Australia with Rudy Browning joining him. They race together so often down under. Tomohiko Koyama is here again. And Yasuyuki Harima rounds out the lineup for the Japanese of DMM Raiden Racing. Konnichiwa again, you.
Konnichiwa.
It's gotta be now. You have no points. Please score some.
Yeah, you're right. So we couldn't get a win yesterday, but today we will to win. I hope so.
I really hope so. Everybody watching would love to see everything you've got. Good luck to all of you.
Arigato. Arigato.
Arigato anima. So we fly. These DMM Raiden Racing drones, honestly, they are the nicest we have. They are beautiful. They are immaculate. All the other teams, all the other pilots look at them and go, how are they all so perfect?
Yeah. Yeah, the teams have to cut their own canopies, and it's not an easy thing to do, but I think it's that Japanese craftsmanship.
Yeah, yep. Axel Mario Christopher Lenkong joining us on Facebook. Welcome to you, one of the very best pilots we've ever had. An absolute pleasure commentating on your acts and the best in Indonesia. Not with us here, though. Sad you're not with us again, countdown. Axel. But willing on your teammates. Single heat, number 1, between Timothy Trowbridge and Yasuyuki Harima. And the start is good, just 1/100th of a second between them, and away we'll fly. Now, Harima might be a little bit more cautious than Trowbridge when it comes to a racing track, but so far so good. The lead is his, under the wheel the second time, under the hurdle that they've got to do, and then the dive. One goes left, one goes right. Trowbridge goes to the lead, but his exit of the I-time gate was very hesitant, having to keep that flying. Harima is still flying too, but he has come behind now as he's got trouble between the pylon and the Breitling gate, which has held him up low. He's over 3 seconds behind. Trowbridge dives down, got a very high view of that. And yesterday we saw him, when he had a big lead, slow down to make sure he secured it. 3.37 is almost in slowing down kind of range. Through the DCL gate. This is a time already that some pilots had finished in yesterday, so you can see this isn't absolutely flat out. Under the second hurdle there, into the finish gate, not a problem for him. Red Bull greets Timothy Trowbridge. Yasuyuki Harima is coming in as well. Finisher point for him, but heat point for Apex. And so, yeah, I mentioned there are a lot of stakes on this, and let's sum that up again. Apex, any points today, and they're guaranteed to be runners-up at the World Championships. That is easily within their grasp. But DMM Raiden Racing have not scored a single season point this year. They've got a couple of wins as racers, not many. As a team, DMM Raiden Racing haven't been out of a quarterfinals all year. They've never even been in 5th place as being the best of the teams, leaving in the quarterfinals. They really want to change that today. Harima doing an important job here because if they do go out of this, they need more finisher points than all the other teams who lose the quarterfinals. So the finish for him may be the difference.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. He went back momentarily, turned around. Maybe he thought he missed the pylon, but he didn't. Timothy was flying really well there. He was indeed struggling in the first lap with the gate after the dive down at the lake, but the second lap was absolutely brilliant. Securing that first point for Apex. Apex was the surprise of this season, weren't they?
10 seconds countdown.
Yeah. We knew they'd be good at the start, but after our first races in Lax, they hadn't featured in the finals and 4 other teams had. Then it changed. Let's see what Dane Grace can do against Tomohiko Koyama. What's fabulous about this final day of racing is we are getting competitions between teams who just haven't met this season. These teams have never raced against each other. Let's see what Grace and Koyama is out. Sakusha.
Pilot number
and
2
his
into the
wonderful
finish
hat
gate.
doesn't fly anymore in this single heat. I've been saying all year I am saving my question to him about why that hat. I've been saving it for a special occasion, and I'm not feeling a special occasion.
Is it Winnie the Pooh, right? Isn't it?
I don't know. Oh, look at the canopy of that. That's split in 2. That beautiful canopy. No, Tomohiko Koyama.
Yeah, again, it's the Ferris wheel.
Oh, smashed it.
It's difficult to see, and also it's this complete environment, and especially around the Ferris wheel, is so different than what all of these pilots are used to.
I know down on our stage our pilots can hear us. I know Lucas Baumann can hear us. Lucas, Dwayne Walker thinks you're dreamy. Kazuo Asami, welcome to you. Welcome to Everybody Racing. Alfie, I think, is cheering him on from Facebook, from the Apex side of things too. I'm glad you're enjoying yourself. Emzo as well, welcome along. Thrilled to have you with me. Okay, Apex in the driving seat here, 2-0. So this is Marcus Spooner. And Mark joined us from the DCL draft earlier on this year when we were in March in Cannes with the best gamers on our simulator. We brought them to Cannes where they raced and answered questions from our team owners, and then we had a draft pick where the owners of our 7 World Championship teams got to pick gamers to fly for them for real. Daniel Ayer was one of them, who we saw racing earlier on for China Dragons. He was the #1 pick out of the draft from all of the teams. Marcus Spooner joins us for the final races of the season. He was the 2nd pick for Apex, so he took Alfie ahead of him, who I think is joining us from back home, cheering on his team as he always does.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, the game. When I was here, I was like, ooh, I want to fly this track as well.
10 seconds countdown.
And I could on the simulator. And it's super accurate. It's really fun to do.
We do an absolute representation of all of our real-life locations in DCL the game, and our pilots use it for training and qualifying. Spooner knows his way around here thanks to that and gave us some good action yesterday. But he's got the FAI World Champion of Rudy Browning to contend with here. Rudy won the title in 2018. He's the reigning world champion individual pilot of the FAI. And he is 800ths of a second behind our draft pilot. Spooner's showing him what a game racer and a simulator racer can do here. He's still in front of Rudy Browning as they'll come around the wheel on lap number 2. Dive under the 2nd section of it, over 1 hurdle out and onto the other one. And Spooner's got the lead. They're on board with Rudy Browning, who's looking at the back of the Spooner and coming around the island on the 2nd part of this. The dive was good. The climb from both of them is good too. And Browning's caught him. But he's not past him now. They came together. You can see 100th of a second as they exited the Brightling Gate. But Spooner takes his team to the win and beats out Rudy Browning. Draft game pilots 1, FAI World Champion 0. I'm just representing my gamers there, I'm not going to lie. Marcus Spooner, congratulations on the win. What a thrilling race that was.
Yeah, that was one of the best races we've had all day. To be honest, I haven't seen a Spooner race in real life before this event. But that man can rip, man.
Yeah.
He's a great pilot. There was a big mid-air there that almost took him out. But he managed to keep his drone in the air and finishes his lap. It didn't throw him off much, so my hats off to that.
Absolutely. Brilliant work, brilliant action from both of them. Welcome, Hilaire. I'm not sure I pronounced your name right, but I hope I do. Who's seeing Salina Turda and makes him proud to be a Romanian. I love that. Welcome to you. We are so pleased to be in your beautiful country, an absolutely wonderful place. We've been here 3 times for racing. I think it's the only place we've been to 3 times, and you can see why. It is a phenomenal location. Philibert, welcome to you. Where are you joining us from? Are you over in Singapore? Manila? Where are you with us? I'm a good friend of mine from over on the east. Pleased to have you with us in our World Championship of Drone Racing.
10 seconds.
Good racing there from Marcus Spooner, giving Apex a 3-0 lead to our 4th single heat. Between these is Eric Holden and Ben Mortensen. Wow, 700ths of a second for Ben, double that for Eric Holden, but nobody minds because these 2 pilots are brilliant racers. It is going to be a fight, fight, fight. Here we go with Holden and Mortensen on the dive. Mortensen's got the lead of this so far. They'll exit out of that, and Holden can attack now, as we've seen him do time and time again this season. Behind him in the Breitling Gate with 3800ths of a second. The turn over the amphitheater and under the wheel. 1 turn, 2. Holden comes in on the inside, and Mortensen takes the lead from him on the dive and pulls away. Mortensen's got him back. We saw this yesterday. We're loving it again. Holden and Mortensen, nothing really between 2 incredible pilots. The lead switches. Holden, Mortensen, Holden, Mortensen. But Mortensen has hit that DCL gate, and Holden is away. He's going to make that finish. Into the gate so hard, I think he bounced it out again. But crossed the finish line. That will count as a finish. I think he's landed next to an arm of an earlier crash from another drone. Yeah, there's some debris there. That's not his. But I'm absolutely sure he made it into the Red Bull finish gate, and our runners will go and have a little bit of a clean-up. But Apex will be 4-0 up, and DMM Raiden Racing's chance of getting anything this season is a mountain to climb.
This was a seriously cool race because Mortensen was a bit faster on the drop and going through the gate down there. But Holden was faster here. It's where you see an amazing inside corner by Eric Holden, which threw Ben Mortensen off. He was like, oh no, here we go. And that stressed him out a little bit. But Eric Holden, yeah, amazing racing by him all season. He's just racking up points for his team, and he's doing it again now.
In so hard, it comes out again. And he's oh, and there. That's why there's debris down on the ground then. It was the non-finish for Ben Mortensen. Yesterday, they both finished. And our timekeeping said 1200ths of a second between them, but we worked it out that it was less than 10 centimeters between them at the finish gate. And here, Holden gets the win over Mortensen again, but what an amazing race. If you didn't see yesterday's racing, don't watch it now. We got loads more of this to show you today, but that's a race to savor again and again. That's the beautiful view of 150 meters from top to bottom inside Salina Turda. And it is big heat time. So, as extreme as it can be for DMM Raiden Racing, they have to come in first, second, third, and fourth. Do that, and you get 5 points in a big heat, and you go to the semi-finals. If they don't, they're out now, and they will wait to see the finisher points of all of the other teams who leave the quarterfinals. If they're the best of them, they get 5th today, they get some points. But let's enjoy the big heat between these 2 brilliant teams. Ben Mortensen the best of them out of the blocks again, as he was in the big heat yesterday. 800ths of a second for him. He won yesterday's big heat after a close battle with Eric Holden. He's just had a close battle with Eric Holden. Maybe he's going to win a big heat again. No, because he's done. And Koyama and Harima are done as well. But all of Apex is still flying, and it is down to the FAI World Champion, Rudy Browning, to spoil Apex's fun. He's in seconds. He's got Dane Grace ahead of him, Spooner and Holden behind him. Browning starts to catch Dane Grace on that dive. Grace has got the good speed and over a second between them, but the attack is good. Grace comes up out of there a little bit ahead of Browning. I think that gap's extended now. 105, he's hanging in there, but he's got very little time to try and close it down. He's going to make a really tight finish. Grace is in. Browning, I think, may not actually have made it in there. It is at least 1 for Apex. It might even be 2, maybe even 3, but it doesn't matter. Apex Racing are now semi-finalists and confirmed runners-up in the World Championships. And the pilots just enjoying the great battles and racing that they're giving each other. I praise them every season. I praise them every race for the camaraderie and the brilliant competition we get between these guys. And we're seeing it again here. Here's Ben Mortensen's view as he was down at least in fourth. The wheel ends his racing fun of 2019. There's another one hitting the underside of the I-time gate.
And a Red Bull crash gate. I think actually Eric Holden made a wrong flight. He went into the crash gate a bit early. But yeah, he had Dane in front of him. Nothing to worry about. Very, very solid victory by Apex.
Well, what a wonderful location. So many happy memories every time we race here, and more of them being formed, both in our minds, the pilots, and I'm sure yours as well. Welcome to everybody who's with us. Kirill says, Apex are good. Yes. So people want to see how many crashes and debris we have. Well, we've shown you spectacularly broken drones here in our commentary booth before. Let's see what we get as we race later on today. To our stage, we have the runners-up of the World Championship for 2019. Eric, congratulations. It's now confirmed that Apex will be the runners-up of our season. And a great race between you and Mortensen helped you get there.
Well, first of all, I'm very glad we are secured the second place for this season. It's incredible to be second place with this competitiveness in our first season of Drone Champions League. So that I'm very happy to secure that. Secondly, I'm very happy to win the 1 versus 1 against Ben Mortensen. So we had a crazy battle yesterday, copied it. It's almost the same as yesterday. And yeah, I'm very happy now.
Eric, I just want to let you know, not that I want to add any pressure to you, but I know the competitor in you will like this, that I'm keeping tab of who's Pilot of the Year this year based on who's won the most races for their team. You are up in the battle for Pilot of the Year, but you need a few more wins. How would you like to have won more than anyone else?
Well, I'm surprised. This is my first season in DCL, and I'm doing pretty well. I really enjoy the racing we have here. But I think it will be difficult to be the best pilot of the season. We will see if I can take some more wins in the next rounds.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. You are right now the best pilot in big heats of everybody in DCL. So congratulations for leading your team to many points in those. Let's see what you get in the semi-finals. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
He didn't know that was coming.
Look at that. I love that face.
I love seeing that too, and we
passion.
have seen it many, many times. 16 now.
16 points.
Yeah, 16 wins for his team.
My God. Yeah, so that's combined single heats and big heats. Yeah.
Yep.
And of those 16 points, 6 of them are big heats. Yeah, that's impressive.
And I'll just mention that he didn't even race in every stop this year.
Right.
In Lax, where we started in Switzerland back in March, he wasn't there. He didn't race for the team. It was Timothy Trowbridge with Dane Grace, Thomas Raffenlarsen, who's helping them technically this season, and Marcel Gregor was there too. Eric joined later. Apex, to be fair, went out in both quarterfinals of that first 2 races that we did on a mountain. So he didn't have much opportunity to score more wins, but may well have got a few more points. So he's doing brilliantly, having only been at 2/3 of our season so far. Let's go for quarterfinals number 4. Let's go to the team who are best in qualifying at this track and runners-up yesterday. Young Roxanne with Min-Chan Kim. 11-year-old Min Jae Kim. I missed your birthday, sorry, Min Jae. He's now 11. And Seungmin Go. Together, the Koreans bringing us so much fun. Veloce Racing. HJ, thank you for all the entertainment you and your pilots have given us throughout the season.
Yes.
You can be 3rd of the World Championship today. What do we get from you guys? Are the hats ready? Are we going to have some fun?
Yeah, so actually we announced a third place. When I won with my team is a third place, so we are just a 40 point ahead of Russian drone sports. So now we are, we are again, that wild props. So the wild props challenged yesterday. They want us stand for flying. So we accepted it today. So I can see you behind your back. That's your placement now, okay? Thank you.
Yes, so when these teams raced yesterday, thank you, HJ, Vince from this team, Wild Prop, challenged them to stand as Wild Prop do.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy that HJ agreed to our challenge. Their pilots are going to stand up, because usually all the racing pilots sit down and freestyle pilots stand up. So I challenged them, and they're accepting it. So I think that's good sport. And we're going to send it and have an epic battle. Good luck, guys, and send it. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go.
Yes, let's go, Vince. Thank you, Vince. He and his teammates lining up as our wildcard team. Andre Aguilera is here with, oh my God, you know him. It's Tommy Tibahia. Benoit Fink is racing in his very first times. Vince Irie, it's certainly not the first we've seen of him, and I'm sure it's not the last. They are Wild Prop. We always have a wildcard team everywhere we go. Sometimes they are local pilots who compete in a competition for the spots to race in that location. Here we brought in some freestylers to show us what they can do in this incredible location. Can they race? Well, they were absolutely whitewashed against Veloce yesterday.
It's true, yeah. But I have to point out they are the wildcard pilots, and they are not that familiar with these kind of drones. And also they're freestylers. And freestyling is all about precision rather than speed. But they promised me today they're going to step their game up and go for it.
Now, Benoit Fink didn't race in his single heat yesterday as his drone didn't fly, and then he competed in the big heat. And the big heat was his first ever drone race. What can he do in his second? Welcome to everybody joining us. Here we go for the first single heat quarterfinal number 4. Young Sun is away, and Benoit Fink is second out of the blocks. Very slow and cautious. This is going to take all day. Young Sun is out of it, though. How did you crash there? Benoit Fink has passed him, making his way under the wheel and egged on by everybody. He's going to get a win in only his second drone race ever. And it's against one of the most experienced pilots we've ever had. Enjoy this moment, Benoit Fink.
Oh my God, yeah. I don't know what to say, man.
That was one of the slowest races I've ever seen.
Yeah. But then again, it's not, I don't know. Maybe
I mean, you can say slow and steady wins the race, but Young Sun, my dear friend.
Oof, yes. He almost missed that DCL cone.
He gives us a bit of a look at the pit area where all of our pilots are fixing their drones. He's coming to that. Nobody has ever crashed there in 3 years of racing at this location. I'm sure nobody's ever shot that.
I think maybe I have once, but in training, yeah.
Well, he's in good company then.
He is. Yes.
Benoit Fink has a 50% win record in his drone racing career. Okay. Mateus, my friend from Poland, thanks for joining us. I'm so pleased you're here to see what we do on the drone racing side of things. Absolutely loving that so many people are joining us from all over the world. This is the final of our 2019 season. Thanks for joining us, everybody. One of my producers on other shows around the world is having a look at what we do. Well, this is what we do now. Zhou Mingo and Tommy Tibahua. Well, Go is away, as we would expect, as Tommy did complete his race yesterday, but was super slow. Slower than a lot of people expected, and he's crashed it. Go is heading around the island and will gently rise up to the Rudolph chamber around the pylon. He'll fly and through the Breitling gates. Being told you have to finish it now as it's done. Lucas confirms it. Go comes in, evens the score for Veloce. Tommy, I know, was disappointed yesterday after his racing. I think it was I'm not saying this in a cruel way, but I think it was a little bit of a culture shock to him to realize, oh wow, racing is racing.
It's not as easy as it looks. Yeah. No. But I have to say, Tommy was flying a lot better than yesterday.
Yes.
And also, I'm surprised that this is the first crash we've had here, because actually this section of the track is really tight, it's really narrow, and you have the lights on the right side and netting that's virtually impossible to see on the left side. Yeah, and unfortunately that's where Tommy's squad ended up.
He's taking that well there, enjoying their time flying here. Well, if you're a freestyle pilot, welcome to your dream venue.
Yeah, and I saw that those guys after the previous race. I saw them do some freestyling here in the cave, and these guys really have something, man. They were doing amazing stuff.
Yeah, you want to keep an eye on our social media on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Drone Champions League, and Twitter, Drone Champions L, as we have some astonishing freestyle footage to show you from racing and flying here in Salina Turda. Here we go with Vince Irie, who is not just a brilliant freestyler, but also a pilot we've seen racing in our 2017 and 2018 seasons. Here, he's guesting on the wildcard team against Min-Jae Kim, the 11-year-old Theo from South Korea. And Min-Jae Kim is capable of giving Vince a hell of a race, and vice versa. Great pilot, doesn't let pressure get to him, but when he wins it, we see an 11-year-old having the time of his life, and it is such a pleasure to see.
Vince had some video issues, and what the runners of DCL are doing right now is reprogram their immersion RC VTX, so that's the video transmitter, repowering it, and hopefully it works now. If it doesn't work, teams are allowed to swap out the drones once. And as I can see, there's still no video.
Yep.
So let's see what's going on now. Hopefully they're going to swap out the drones.
Yep, so they can bring a second drone. So the procedure is, if it doesn't go first time, we power cycle it. If it doesn't go the second time, we switch it. If that drone doesn't work, we power cycle that one. And if it doesn't go then, well, we'll get on and race without you. So everybody can bring 5 drones to any of our location, and of course they work on them and fix them between race days and indeed between quarters and semis. And look at this, brilliant here. HJ trying to help Vince compete against one of HJ's pilots.
Yeah, but there's no video. It's not the goggles, Vince. There's no video coming out of your drone. I can see it.
Yeah, we've got it on all the FPV views. We can see everything they can see. They have it on stage too.
I can't, yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to work out the arming and so on stage.
Look, something's
looks
happening
like,
now.
It's sparking
Yes.
into life. Here we go.
We got it. That's good. It's so unfortunate. I've had it once in the past, maybe twice even. You sit there, you're prepared, you double-check everything, put the drone on the starting blocks, and it just doesn't work. It's one of the most frustrating things that can ever happen to a racer.
Spudnik in YouTube wants to know why there are 2 cameras on the quad. So the first one is the FPV that the pilots are flying with and that you are seeing live here from underground.
10 seconds countdown.
In Salina Turda. The other one is recording it in HD for our television magazine that you can see on TV channels all around the world, our highlights program where we talk about the racing that has happened. Make sure you try and check that in the next week. Kim is away in 1/10 of a second. Irie a little bit behind him, flickering a bit. Green drone maybe not quite perfect for him, and Kim is under the wheel and out. Irie is into the wheel. Gonna be so frustrated with that. Yeah, you can see that one's really hurt him. As a freestyle pilot, he gave us great action doing what Vince Irie does. Doing incredible loops and dives over it, power looping it, seeing a hole that nobody would dare fly through and thinking, well, I either pull out or I go for it. So Vince goes for it and makes it. Unfortunately, though, that bit of the wheel is a collision for him. Hard luck.
Hard luck, yeah. Yeah, he is one of the most decorated freestyle pilots out there. But he can race as well, and it's just difficult. But to be honest, Veloce Racing is one of the best teams in the world. And to come out as a wildcard team with little experience, little training, flying new machines, it's very, very difficult to win.
That reaction from Vince right there. You can see, yeah, that one hurt him. Such a character. So pleased to have him as part of our DCL season again. Well, that is MCK. And for many people, that man is the best drone racer in the world. So if you're Andres Aguilera, you got a challenge. Anybody racing MCK knows. And we have seen such amazing fights between him and other pilots before. The winner of this quarterfinal will be up against Apex in semi-final number 2.
10 seconds countdown.
.1400 second for MCK, and watch this man fly. He flies his course like it's the only course he's ever flown all of his life. Andres Aguilera is still in it and entertaining the crowds as he comes around and under the wheel, and Kim completes his turn on the island. He's coming up and sees Aguilera going the other way. Kim attacking it, Kim coming around the wall around the DCL gate. Let's see if this could be maybe the best time we've ever had. He's certainly capable of doing it. He's been one of the fastest here. Aguilera is wall riding the DCL turn at the moment and coming back under the wheel. Kim is out of it before Aguilera has done the dive. Kim did something unthinkable yesterday. He lapped another pilot. It's never been done. It was Aguilera. It won't be this time, as Aguilera is still flying over the island, but MCK is home. Looking like he took that quite leisurely and still managing to do it in a brilliant 46.2. Aguilera comes out. If you are DMM Raiden Racing, you don't want to see this. This is looking like a finisher point for the wildcard team as he's freestyling his way around the rest of the course.
Doing backflips.
No, you've missed the turn, Aguilera. You've missed the turn.
Yeah, well.
He's not getting a finisher point for his team as he's missed the final turn of that, something Vince knows all too well from 2017.
Look at him doing rolls and flips. Oh,
Boy,
oh!
How much of that was intentional, do you think?
None of it.
But if you're a freestyler, 100% intentional.
Yeah, but I am surprised that there's just no slowing down in MCK.
Yeah.
Because he could just take it slow, but maybe taking it slow is something different than he normally does.
Oh my God, he's power looped out of the Breitling gate. That's one way of making that turn.
Yeah, but yeah, back to MCK, he just doesn't slow down. It doesn't matter how big his lead is, he doesn't slow down. He just goes, it's full send it or nothing with that man, and he did it in spectacular fashion.
Well, I enjoyed him giving us a bit of freestyle, but as I was about to say, if you're DMM Raiden Racing, you didn't like the way that was heading. If Aguilera made it into the finisher gate and got a finisher point, DMM Raiden Racing are desperate to be 5th today. They're out of the quarterfinals. The best they can be is 5th. With that, they get 80 points for the season, and they don't finish the season with nothing. But it is down to finisher points. Of the 4 teams who leave in the quarterfinals, the team with the most finisher points are the one who get 80 points.
Right.
Aguilera nearly got one for his team, but I'm pretty sure he failed to make the final turn of the wheel.
Yeah, as we can see on the left side of the screen, DMM Raiden Racing has 10 finisher points, and Wild Prop right now has 5. So they would need 5, which is impossible for the Big Heat.
We're getting a ladder. We're getting some action. So far here in Salina Turda, it's been dry when it comes to recovering drones. I believe 2 went into the Salt Lake yesterday. In 2017, 8 went into there. We did net it. We've netted it this year. It was netted then. We still got 8 in it in 2017. If pilots can find a hole in a net to get a drone wet, it does tend to happen.
Yeah, something to point out about the lake is that the lake is so salt that it's impossible to dive in it. So once something hits the bottom of that lake, it's virtually impossible to get down there and to retrieve it. Either you would have to have some kind of big net with a stick or something, but then again, it's so dark, you cannot see. So once it's at the bottom of the lake and it's in a deep spot, it's just gone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the Dead Sea. Only a little smaller, but a lot darker.
And a lot saltier.
Yes. And we did have in 2017 one of our runners go above and beyond the call of duty by stripping off and wading into the lake. There are boats. This is a tourist attraction. You can rent a boat very cheaply and float around on that salt lake. One of our pilots were crashing in that. We were using the boat to recover things. One of the drones managed to sink a little bit too fast, so somebody got themselves wet. You can watch that from our 2017 season if you want to explore some old videos on our channels. So it's big heat time.
10 seconds
KPV
countdown.
wants to name and shame who ended up in the lake. Not so. We're celebrating the brilliant pilots we have today. You can tell I'm tempted, can't you? I will say that we thought Vince was one of them yesterday after he crashed on the rise. Nope, that drone stayed in the net and dry. Let's fly then. Wild Prop against Veloce Racing. And Green Drone's looking like they've got a little bit lost. Tibaja is actually being flagged up under review for an early start. He might have jumped the start in his eagerness to try and get further up this race. But MCK is doing what MCK does as a Young Rock Sun Shumbin Go. Min Chan Kim flying out so well here. Min Jae Kim is down under the wheel. So his race ends here. But all of Wild Prop still flying and fighting around amongst some purple drones too. Is that MCK lapping someone? I think it might be. Looking like a second one is going to fall to him as well. Let's go on board with maybe the best pilot in the world, depending on who you are and what you think. To the finish gate in no trouble at all in 43.84. Like this is a world championship battle to the end. None of his teammates even within 6 seconds of him. Vince Irie leading the way for Wild Prop as he did yesterday. Aguilera's still flying. Benoit Fink is still flying. What do we get out of them and what will be their last time here? Tibaja's still flying too. And classes of drones. Tibaja is in. Aguilera is going to maybe give us a little bit more fun on the wheel. Fink is coming through the Breitling gate. There he is. That's Benoit Fink taking a run at the wall run. Aguilera is done. Benoit Fink, it's all on you at the end here. Oh, the video pictures failed. That crash on the wheel has done it for Wild Prop. They come down. Well, we got to see a little bit of the freestyling skills unexpectedly from that man Aguilera earlier on. And there's lots more of it to come on our channels, Drone Champions League, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. But not today. Ragnarok wants to know what URES means. It's under review for an early start. He basically, did he jump the green light to go?
Yep. MCK on another level. He proved it. He proves it time and time again. And as you mentioned, yeah, he was way ahead, even way ahead of his teammates. Min Jae Kim clipping the Ferris wheel. Minchin making it through very, very smooth. The first lap he was. He almost lapped. He almost lapped one of the Wild Prop pilots there.
Well, congratulations to Veloce pursuing their win today, possibly. They were in the final yesterday against XBlades. That might well be some fun again today. And as the rest of Wild Prop leave the stage, I think we're going to get, I think we'll get Benoit Fink on our stage. Benoit, so before any of the racing happened yesterday, you told me you had never had a drone race in your life. And in fact, when it came to learning this track in DCL, the game, you really didn't try, let's be honest. That's what you were telling me with a smile on your face. Yeah. Yet, Wild Prop have scored 1 point in 2 days, and it was you.
Yeah, I mean, I had never raced in my life. The sim, I literally downloaded it just for the qualification, so I had no experience whatsoever. We got the drones yesterday, so it was all like a new thing for me. And it was pretty fun, actually. So yeah, today my objective was to finish, and I did it on my qualifications. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it on the last one, but I felt like I would freestyle a little bit before the end, and that's what basically got me. But I'm starting to get a hang of it, I think.
He started to get a hang of it. Well, it's about time, because, you know, there's a racetrack all around you. But sadly, Benoit, we won't be seeing any more of you and the Wild Prop guys racing on this today. But I know you had a great load of fun freestyling and making some stuff for us as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We flew some freestyle yesterday, and yeah, you'll see it. It's pretty sweet.
He's quite relaxed about the whole thing, isn't he? Benoit, the best of world prop, no less. Vince won't let you live that down. Congratulations to you, and thanks for joining us and giving us some entertainment here on the final part of our season. Quarterfinals are done, ladies and gentlemen, and semi-finals await us in our grand final later on today. Thank you to everybody joining us. Hello there. Love the coat. Having some fun. Dad doing the dad job there. Well done, Dad. Yep, and the children climb into the air like drones. Hello, you. Welcome to everybody. Thanks for joining us here. We are live to the world, and we are showing your beautiful faces to them. Yes, give us a smile. Welcome, everybody. Hope you're having fun here. Yeah, we're talking about you, little man. Hello. I'm a dad, can you tell? I'm going all soft, aren't I?
Yeah,
I miss
too.
my boy, Elion. I wish you were here. Okay, so quarterfinals are done. Final day of DCL. Rudy and Ben are giving us a wave as well with Yucatira. Well, we talked a little bit about Wild Prop as we were interviewing Benoit Fink there. Let's show you a little bit more about the fun we've had with them before we got to the racing. And semi-finals and finals to come on our final day soon.
So the wildcard team is primarily freestyle pilots.
On my team is Tommy, oh my god, we've got Andres from Spain, Andrew, and Benoit Finky from France.
1, 2, 3. It's a challenge because I don't usually race, I only do freestyle, so it's quite a different concept of flying.
I'm here again in Salina Turda, and I actually won with IRC Racing in 2017.
First thing that's very different for us is that we have to make certain obstacles and that we have to pass these in a specific order.
Freestyle, typically you want to slow down and kind of show off your scenery. Yeah, buddy.
And we're always looking for those clean lines to make awesome video.
But with racing, it's like the complete opposite. You just want to get from point A to point B as fast as you can, high camera tilt, full throttle, and just go, 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 go.
In freestyle, it's more about flow and making it look pretty. Here, it's all about being efficient.
Okay. Well, let's not get the freestyle part twisted here. Just because we like to go slow doesn't mean we're not competitive. Definitely, we're going to try and come out here and bring our A game and see if we can take down some of these fast guys.
Either way, win or lose, we're going to have a blast.
I'm super excited to race here. It's quite an amazing scenery.
I love it, man. Drone racing has really become a part of my life, and I enjoy every single moment of it.
DCL's in its third year. All the kinks seems like it's worked out, and now it's truly about the racing, the pilots, and the epic courses. And I mean, as you can see here, this is probably one of the most epic courses I've ever seen in my life.
He's got his goggles on, and he's looking ready. Going Peterson's out of the block and almost into a mid-air between them as their paths converged. But there's a fifth of a second between them after the pylons are finished. And the McDonald's gate go heading very low down, and Peterson's has carried the lowest speed and closed that gap up. It's still nearly a 3/10 of a second, but you saw that gap close and then extend away again, and go extends it again. The speed he's got there towards the pylons is brilliant. He'll bring that around past the outside gate, and Peterson's has got a second lap in which to try and catch him now. Go towards the Breitling gates in the new turn that they've all been doing today. That is clean from both of them. Half a second between them. Peterson's is getting more aggressive. You can see him attack. Let DCL close their gate as he wanted to close that gap, but it looks like it may have backfired for him as he is not in the picture anymore. Go, makes it. When he makes it, 3. Peterson's is coming in now. The finishes are getting quick. The pilots are getting to grips with this Red Bull crash gate. Holden Rousseau will come. This could be an amazing scrap. We've already seen a bit of what Eric Holden can do. Rousseau can see him as well. And Rousseau takes the lead to the midpoint of the first lap and starts the straight. And Holden is a second behind him, which is quite a long way for Holden against an amazing pilot like Rousseau. You're going to need to show us what you can do on those turns. Well, he is. He's almost winning right now. The Torino Tower is where these two pilots are going to fly it out. Holden hasn't got him yet. Split S is on the I-time gates and away. And Rousseau has the lead again into the straight, and Holden isn't quite as far behind as he was on lap number 1. You see him gaining on him now. It's all going to come to this part at the end of lap 2. Holden aggressively attacking. He's got the lead from him. It was twitchy, but he's made it. Two-point advantage. It's a lot of purple drones at the front, which is exactly what Veloce need to do, and they're in the hands of MCK, Min-Jae Kim, Young Rock's son. Ethan Kling's flying aggressively up there as well. It looks like young Min-Jae has gone down. It's still purple at front, but it needs to be at least 2, and it could well be. Second and third and fourth, purples and blues, they've all split each other and gone into the netting, leaving Min-Jae Kim a lot clearer. And all of a sudden now, I think Young Rock's son has moved up from way back into being the next challenger for Veloce to take them to the finals. Kylian Rousseau is the one stopping them right now, though he doesn't need to win, but he does need to come at least second. MCK to the stage. Young Rock's son is fighting it out. He's got XBlades next to him on both sides. Now he's got XBlades in front of him. And Luke can't stay in his seat. And that is a point for Veloce as they win it, but they had to get at least 2. DCL the game live to you on the 28th of January on PC, Mac, PlayStation 4 and Xbox. Playable with controllers, playable with keyboard and mouse, game pads. You can't plug a drone racing controller into a PS4 or Xbox due to software, code, compatibility, lack of drivers, all those kind of things. If you're an Xbox or PlayStation console gamer, you know third-party controllers are pretty hard to come by in unusual ways. But I see in the chat that somebody wants to try it with a steering wheel, and I look forward to hearing how you get on. 28th of January, get DCL the game, our simulator. But let's have a look in our live pit area from Salina Turda. This is Veloce Racing. came into Salina Turda in 4th place in our World Championship, but they're currently 3rd. And the Russians, well, that's
organized
not
chaos.
full of pilots. Yes, we'll call it organized chaos. Here's confirmation then that XBlades Racing are the untouchable world champions, and Apex Racing now cannot be caught in points by Veloce. So they are the winners and runners-up respectively, but Veloce and Drone Sports are both still here. They're in separate semi-finals. They once met in a grand final. It was on the 2nd race of the year back in Lax in Switzerland. To get to the grand final today, Drone Sports will have to beat out XBlades. Apex will have to fall to Veloce. So that's very interesting. Drone Sports are not in their area right now. What could they be doing instead, Martin?
Maybe they're ready. Aren't they in the next semi-finals? I hope for them that they're ready, because otherwise they're going to run into some issues.
Yep, they're in our preparation area getting ready, as they are indeed in semi-final number 1. They will be against XBlades Racing. That'll be Drone Sports in the semi-finals against XBlades Racing. And so they'll be in our preparation area right now, handing in quads, nominating which ones for single heats, which ones for big heats, and about ready to enter our stage. Veloce, of course, they're in semi-final number 2, so they have got a little bit more time to prepare. That's because they qualified better. So that's why the semi-finals are that way around. If you think it's a little bit unfair, it's based on seeding, based on qualifying. Veloce and their pink, getting those ready to fly. Drone Sports, their pilots are in the preparation area. It does look like there's an awful lot of kit still in their pit area, though, doesn't it? Look, there it is.
Yeah.
Here's Apex.
Yeah, it's going to be
Mark
interesting.
is looking happy. I want to bring you though some more racing fun here. I mentioned earlier on Holden and Mortensen, what an incredible race we saw from them just now here. And I mentioned what a phenomenal race it was yesterday. There was a little bit of a spoiler about what happened, but you're still going to enjoy seeing it again. All right, Ben versus Eric. His pilots have never met. This is brilliant. Can't wait for this. Mortensen out of the block in 500ths of a second. That's a phenomenal reaction time, and Eric Holden doesn't care because he's passed him. Ben's passed him back. Told you this would be good. Hold your breath, everyone. It's going to keep it like this all the time. Let's dive towards the Deadly Salt Lake and come out of the Iton gate separately. Glad to see it. 800ths of a second between them. So close now. Mortensen had to climb. Holden's passed him on the Breitling turn. Mortensen's got the lead back from him. Eric's got the lead back from Ben. This will roll and roll and roll. Holden heads towards the dive. Mortensen takes a different approach and carries a load more speed out. Mortensen takes the lead on the turn around the seating. Comes back up and Holden's got the lead again. Mortensen's got the lead again. This is what you want. World Championship racing right now. Holden's taking the lead from Mortensen. Mortensen's on the inside to the finish. One of the best races of 2019. Holden seems to be given the win there. That will, of course, get checked, and a big hug from Rudy to Ben. Well, that was enjoyable, wasn't it? I actually got to sit back and watch that one rather than live it live, commentating on the way through. Yeah, the guy talking there, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But anyway, Mortensen and Holden.
It's pretty funny. It's pretty funny to see that Holden was putting his goggles off after the race, after he won that amazing heat yesterday, and he was making a movement like he was shaking. But to be honest, he wasn't shaking. You know, he was flying so good. That was an amazing heat.
Yeah, he was trying to sort of show the nerves that he'd had throughout that, but we couldn't see it, could we? 1200 a second at the finish there, but I don't know if you realized at the Breitling gate, a little bit before the end, 100th of a second between them. No mid-airs, thankfully, in that race, and so exciting to see it. Ben, again, so close to Eric earlier on today, but Holden continues to be the dominant one of the two, but can't wait to ever see either of them race in future. Semi-finals are ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Matt Andrews. This is Martijn de Kemp, and we are delighted to be bringing you the action, but less delighted that it is our final day. 2019 concludes here and now in Salina Turda, but we are going to be back in 2020, and you could even race part of it. Keep your eyes on DCL the game and get involved in the DCL draft early next year. 4 good teams to see us through our semi-finals, and a scrap, as we mentioned, still for third place.
Third place. Yeah, that's going to be exciting. So we have the Russian team, who were on 3rd position yesterday, but they got outplayed
Yeah. By Veloce.
By Veloce.
Before we started yesterday, I think it's worth remembering again, Drone Sports were possibly the world champions. It was a huge climb for them. They needed to win yesterday's racing outright and today's to get maximum 500 points. They also needed XBlades and Apex to score nothing whatsoever, so it wasn't entirely in their hands. Very unlikely set of circumstances, as you know, if you're familiar with DCL, and it didn't happen. We know XBlades are the champions. We know Apex is second. But Drone Sports, who could have been first, may now not be on the podium. It's up to them and Veloce. What a disappointment that would be for their ends.
Exactly, yeah, and both of them are facing extremely strong teams. So, yeah, right. We have Drone Sports up against XBlades, and we have Veloce up against Apex.
Who says Drone Sports can't be romantic? Let's get to our racing in semi-final number 1. XBlades, of course, are ready. Brett Collis, Gary Kent, Luke Bannister and Killian Russo. We've said it time and time. They're world champions of XBlades. Dominic, business as usual, I see. Everybody's happy. Everybody's enjoying the racing. You've got the Russians this time.
We've got the Russians this time, and we're really looking forward to this race. We hope we're going to continue our story of success, but it's a tough opponent for us.
Yes, it is. Yes, we'll look forward to seeing what they do. They only just scraped into this semi-final, of course, based on qualifying position out of the quarters. It was as close as it could be. The red drones are ready. For Thomas Petersons, Konstantin Kosolopov, Platon Maximov, and Pavel Leshak, the semi-finalists. Drone Sports Global. So Nikolai, third in the World Championships, can still be yours, but you've got to get XBlades out of the way to make it definite.
It's not the first time for us against the XBlades, so we know that we're fighting against the best drone racing team in the world. So as I usually say, we will do our best and wish us luck. Thank you.
We wish you luck indeed.
Thanks.
It is a tough challenge for any team. Good luck to both of these teams. Now, we're going to have to point out, if you aren't quite memorizing the entire history, and there will be an exam later on, so I hope you're keeping up. It's been 3 encounters between XBlades and Drone Sports. Unusually, they have actually met at every single one of our locations of Lax, Turin, and Vaduz, and it has always been XBlades who've won.
10
and Drone
seconds
Sports have never
countdown.
managed to pick up more than 1 point against them. So the mountain is set for the underground race. Gary Kent and Platon Maximov are first to fight. Maximov has lost twice to Kent, once in a flat-out race and once when he crashed. 300ths of a second on the Breitling turn, but Kent is away from there. The dive down to that Salt Lake, not scaring too many pilots. This time, Platon Maximov has taken it a lot slower to the I-turn gate here. Is this a team who think they can't beat XBlades and are purely going for finisher points to keep third place? It doesn't look like the Maximov fight that I expected from him. Gary Kent, or maybe a little bit of an impact on the wheel. He's had to recover from that, and he's only just going for the dive now, giving Maximov possibly a chance to get back into this fight. Kent, indeed, out of it at the I-turn gate, down on the ground, is going to try and fight it back in, and Maximov's casual approach could lead him to a heat point, not a finisher point after at all. Kent is flying again, as you see here, but he's 4 seconds behind. Maximov makes the turn, makes the wheel, has got all the time to do it as Kent is only just coming in. Maximov with a win after all. Kent comes in second place. Maximov, I'm sure, gets the point over Gary Kent for Drone Sports.
Yeah, I think we will see that score up top corrected. It's definitely Maximov who won that race. Gary Kent here on the low side of the 360 corner there.
Yeah, he got to go under that hurdle, but not that low. Nobody, I think, has bounced it off of the ground there, and then his route for eye time.
Yeah, we see some shaking, and probably because his propeller got damaged when he clipped the floor up there.
Yeah.
So with a broken propeller, it's hard to fly. Maybe a bent propeller, hard to fly, and his quad started shaking.
He was lucky to get that back in the air, I think, to be honest. It was,
and he got pretty close in the end.
Yes.
But Maximov was able to overtake him there.
Well. Okay. Drone Sports will line up Kosolopov against Bannister.
10 seconds countdown.
$1800s of a second and 1800s of a second. Beautiful start from both of the pilots, and Bannister makes that a lot bigger. Pulling and pulling and pulling away from Kosolopov. He's clipped a little bit of the wheel, but is definitely still flying, but that has caused that gap to get even bigger still, and he is going down very carefully, shakily, and with difficulty. As Bannister comes through Breitling and is still flying in this, but it hasn't been the best racing from him here in Salina Turda that we've ever seen out of such an experienced pilot. Under the wheel he's gone, and for the dive he'll go. Konstantin, 9.44 behind him. Bannister has had a problem here, but it's not enough because Kosolopov has had more of them. Gap slightly shorter, but it's not enough for him either. Where is Bannister going? Bannister needs to find his route into the wheel. If Kosolopov was closer, he could seize upon that opportunity, but that is just a difficult run for both of them. Uncharacteristic for Bannister and I feel Kosolopov. Although his season has been difficultly coming to an end for him. He gets it in there, but he won't be happy with that. You can see, not enjoying that racing. And Bannister showing us some of what he can do, but a few mistakes, which we know aren't usual for such a great pilot.
Oh, indeed. Bannister is usually one of the most consistent pilots, but maybe now that the pressure is off for the championship, there's a little bit of a lack of focus. I'm not sure. He hit the Breitling gate there, and also at the next corner he got into a little bit of trouble, but he was able to continue his flight and secure that point for XBlades, so that makes it 1-all. Yeah, this is where he's looking, but he does make the right decision there to take it slow, to return, make sure you enter the right line underneath the Ferris wheel, because if he would have gone in, he would have definitely crashed. So good decision by Luke.
1-all between these two brilliant teams from Great Britain and Russia. And you can hear the crowd enjoying the action here. We're having a fun culmination to our season here. There's still very serious things to happen. We still need to work out who'll be third in the World Championship, and there is good prize money coming to our teams at the end of today as well. But we've still got another semi-final to enjoy and a grand final to savor after this, and this semi-final one is in the thick of things still. Collis will race Peterson's in single heat number 3.
Peterson's with that extremely high camera angle. He takes a lot of risk with it, and especially the dive is a point where he struggles with the camera angle.
So what's he gaining from having it?
Well, the base speed of the quad flying horizontally is a lot higher because you've pretty much forced yourself to fly super fast. It's risky because you have less contrast to control and correct. But let's see, from the start you can see it.
Peterson's and Collis away, a good start for Peterson's. As you mentioned correctly, Martin, he has to pitch that drone very far forward. He's going to make it aggressive and fast. And Collis, half a second between them, but it's not looking like that anymore. Let's dive. Peterson's goes down. And Collis is on the inside of him on the seeding turn, out of the mine. A little bit in the lead. Peterson passes him again on the turns. It comes down to such brilliant action. It comes down to who's got good speed on such a massive 40-meter climb and who can do really tight, difficult turns. Collis now leading away from him, 0.6 of a second over Peterson's. Pylon turn, Breitling gate, not going to be an issue, and Peterson's got to close it now. Got to do it now. Over the amphitheatre, you've got to take Brett on these turns, but it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be done. Collis is home, Peterson's home too. Did attack the wheel, it held him back a little bit, which is why in the gap trebles. Collis gets it, 2-1, always enjoying himself. Shrugging it off, another win, another day at the office for Brett. And Latvia's great pilot of Thomas Peterson's gave him a chase.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you could see, it definitely helped him with the launch because he got away a lot faster. Great turns there. But Brett Collis has proven himself time and time to be one of the best pilots in the world. And it's not just about your horizontal speed, it's about controlling it, going up, going down, making that big dive. And Brett Collis, yeah, did it. Yeah, he just proved himself again. Yeah.
The GOAT, as he's regularly labelled in chat. So Brett Collis beats out Tup, and Drone Sports could even the score here with the very reliable Pavel Leshak. Kylian Rousseau of France and of XBlades will try and beat him out. And Kylian Rousseau, absolutely phenomenal pilot that he is, has one of the best win percentages of any of the racers in the DCL for single heats. So they'll go with Rousseau and Leshak and 500ths of a second between them. DCL gate hanging on the wall, not a problem for either. This is Leshak's view through the wheel and to dive it down. That's what it looks like. And that's a really clean and very neat route to the I-time gate. And yet Rousseau has done it better and extended the gap between them. We'll stay on board with Leshak and see what it looks like for him doing that 40-meter drop and a 40-meter climb. The Salt Lake fills your view and it's pretty terrifying to do. Rousseau has got this beautifully now around that. Look how clean and tidy this is. A great racer like Pavel Leshak doing absolutely nothing to close the gap on him because it's just getting further and further away. 1.85, now half a second again. Rousseau showing us maybe one of the best times we've ever seen. 44.59 is a fantastic run from Rousseau. Brilliant action from him, and Pavel Leshak wasn't hanging around but never got close to him. Just further and further away. Well done, Kylian.
Yeah, on another level. Huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Because Pavel was also, I was looking at the FPV feed, so that's the video signals of the pilots actually flying. And Pavel, I didn't see him make any big mistakes. It was just pure skill on Kylian's behalf.
Yeah, both of them were so clean, such a good
amazing racing
route.
lines, yeah.
But the gap just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And that may well be a difference in the caliber of quads there. Drone Sports have raced these 4 pilots in every location. Never subbed anybody out, never rotated anyone in. Great to see all of these guys in every location working together as a team. But quads-wise, XBlades, the Dragonfly that they fly is a phenomenal racing machine. So XBlades have a 3-1 lead over Drone Sports. Drone Sports got to do the first and second thing here now. And if you look in the corner of your screen, you see finisher points. There's just 1 in it between them. So first and second, and nobody else finishing, will actually see Drone Sports knock out XBlades here. And remember, Drone Sports are fighting with Veloce for the 3rd place in the World Championship today. Drone Sports are currently behind them. We'll get a little bit more into the maths of that later on, because I know you love some maths watching with us around the world on TV, YouTube and Facebook. The Maths Champions League will get a little bit more complicated as we head to things in a bit. Leon Weiss thinks this track is the sickest thing ever. Yeah, it's like in the 13th century, somebody knew what we would be doing 800 years later and gave us this amazing place to enjoy. Nurk is watching. Nurk, hello to you. Hope you're enjoying some DCL action as you are waiting to board a flight. I'm presuming that's not a drone. Hello, Nurk. Love to commentate on you sometime. And with us also on YouTube, John wants to go out and fly. I understand, but would you mind hanging around a little bit longer? Because I got a semi-final and a final ahead of this that I would love to tell you about, if you don't mind. Well, 3-1 for XBlades. Drone Sports need to come in first and second. Challenge for any team against XBlades, and we're thinking that technically the drones aren't capable of putting up the fight that they need to do here. The pilots can, but you're looking at a brilliantly relaxed 3-time world championship team in the hands of the light blue drones from Great Britain. Can they be stopped? One, two, three, and four are all XBlades, 5, 6, and 7, but without Pavel Leshak of the Russians at the back. So, if you're going to do it, you've got the mountain to climb, and it'll be the biggest story we can hope for. The drones start to come down. Bannister has crashed it. Came down on the island, and he's done here. Pavel Leshak never featured in this thing from the beginning. Two of XBlades coming together on the Breitling turn. But we'll go under the wheel on board. It's Killian Rousseau still flying in this, but it's Collis in the lead for him. Going around the island and making his way back up. Kosolopov, Maximov, Petersons, they're all still flying for the Russians. And Collis is some way out in front through Breitling. He's done it in 39.06. 2 seconds between him and any Russian red drone. Collis showing us what we've seen from him again and again, that the finish is no problem. Absolutely plumb into the middle of that. If we drew a bullseye on that Red Bull finish gate to measure how central you are, I think Brett Collis will be getting 10 out of 10 regularly, again and again and again. Peterson's 3:35, never anywhere close to him. Drone Sports go out in semi-final number 1. Question is, what happens for Veloce in semi-final number 2? It's between Veloce and Drone Sports for 3rd place in the World Championship, as XBlades are just enjoying themselves with their big crew here and beating them out again.
Brett Collis absolutely pushing it. Maybe because he wants to take that MVP, unofficial MVP title. Brilliant racing by Brett. Taking the victory in the big heat, winning his single heats. As he did in the quarterfinals also. He also won his single heat and the big heat. He's just racking up points for his team.
Yeah. Brett gets yet another point in his Pilot of the Year standings. I'm not spoiling it just yet, but he was Pilot of the Year in 2017, just saying. Runner-up in 2018, right up there. What about 2019? Well, you'll find out soon. There's more racing to come from them. Thomas Petersons, our Latvian friend from Drone Sports, joins us on the stage, though. So, Thomas, your DCL racing season comes to an end there. Sorry to see you go out there, but 3rd place in the World Championship could be yours. Now you have to wait to see what happens with Veloce. So, tense times for you now.
Yeah, for this race we focused on finishing points, and we knew that XBlade's technical side is a lot better. So probably our drones will not keep up. So we focused straight on finishing. Yeah. But yeah, I'm hoping for the 3rd place.
Well, I'm sure you are. So now you've just got to wait with your teammates and see what Veloce can do. Will you be cheering on Apex?
Yeah, for sure. Apex. Let's go Apex.
Okay, well, somebody get that man a white hoodie and get him on board. Thank you, Thomas, for all the racing you and your guys have given us this season. Great action from Drone Sports, but yeah, now they need some Scandinavian hope.
It didn't look like he was playing it safe, Peterson. He was absolutely on fire, and he flew really well. But yeah, good strategy, I would say, because they need that finisher point to maybe surpass Veloce and take the 3rd place.
I did wonder in the first single heat, that didn't look like a flat-out attack from the guys. But yeah, there was definitely some racing coming from them.
Right.
But interesting that they thought, right, we can't beat XBlades, so we just got to do better than Veloce. Now, if Veloce make it to the grand final, it's gone. It's Veloce's, it's 3rd, and Drone Sports won't be on a podium at the end of the day. So let's see what happens in semi-final number 2. Here are our combatants. Young Roxanne, MCK, Min Jae Kim, Seo Min Go. They are the Korean team of Veloce Racing. HJ.
Yes.
Get to the grand final, and 3rd place in the season is yours. Can you do it over Apex? What do you want to tell them?
Yeah, everybody wants to. I know what you want to say from my mouth. You know, you want it. You want it. Everybody want it. We're gonna beat Apex again, man. Okay, that's my word then, yeah.
Yep, we know you, HJ. Thank you so much for all the entertainment you've given us throughout 2019. Come on then, man. Let's see what you've got, Apex. There, Dane Grace. There, Marcus Spooner. There, Timothy Trowbridge. And right in the fight, Pilot of the Year, Eric Holden. That's Apex. So, the polite and ever-focused and serious Glenn. What do you want to say to HJ? Go on, go on. Apex, congratulations on your runner-up position. Let's see if we get you to another grand final against XBlades, and we'll enjoy it if we see it. But for now, it's you and Veloce. Good luck.
Thank you.
I had to ask. Glenn Bale, so courteous to the guys. Of course, HJ, good value there as well. Right then, semi-final number 2. Well, we got to love what we're going to see here. Just incredible pilots on both sides. So it is Apex and Veloce. Apex, the runners-up in the World Championship for certain, and Veloce might come onto the podium on the other side of it from Apex. This is where we're going to find out. These teams have raced earlier on in our season, and it's always been very entertaining, but it hasn't always been one way. When they met in the quarterfinals of day 2, it was Veloce who knocked out Apex, and as you mentioned earlier on in the show, Martin, that was when we began to question where Apex going to be this season. But then Apex turned it around in the very next quarterfinal and have been in 4 consecutive grand finals after that. Not yesterday. Young Roxanne and Timothy Trowbridge, previous teammates, will scrap it out in single heat number 1. And Son attacks DCL turn 1 and 2 and is in the lead over Trowbridge as they take the dive to the lake. Side by side there, air sharing the I-time gate, now 1900 to the second. Trowbridge has hit the seating. Trowbridge is not in the water, but he is ever so close to it, as you can see. Young Roxanne continues. He crashed out on the turn that he's in right now earlier on today, but he's okay here. He'll come out under the wheel and he'll dive down as Trowbridge goes over him on the way up and is absolutely spiraling out of control. Incredible view of that drone, and you can hear it screaming to try and get back into the air. But this is when Trowbridge is going to call a single heat a day. Young Roxanne will make his turn and finish it off. Gently into there. Great support from him. His single heat earlier was over way too soon. But that's the first thing they need to do. Trowbridge, well, his FPV was something to enjoy, but not for him.
Not really. No, he had a very good racing line going down into the cave. He did it different than before. This is where we see a beautiful chasing footage. Very nice steering here. Pushing down on the right side. Usually he's going to the left side, but I like this a lot better. But he was a bit too high here. Or a bit too sharp, actually. The corner, he took it a bit too sharp. Should have gone a little bit wider. And then he did manage to retrieve his quad, go back up, and it just fell out of the sky.
Yep.
Possibly a motor that broke or an electronic speed controller that gave out because of the crash earlier.
Marty Lancaster is joining us on Facebook and wants to know, is this for real? Hi, Marty. It's very much real. We're 150 meters underground in a salt mine called Salina Turda in Transylvania, Romania. And these are the best drone racing teams in the world on the final day of the 2019 World Championship season. If you'd like to know more, we're the Drone Champions League. You can find out more at DCL.aero and Drone Champions League on social media. We've been racing all over the world in previous seasons, places like Paris, the Great Wall of China. This is our final stop for 2019, and we'll be back again next year. So yeah, we're real. Dane Grace and Xiong Min go. Fight it out with 400 per second between them out of the box, and Grace sees Go in front of him, slipping slightly further away, but it's very, very early days. Over one hurdle, out under the other, and Go has still got the lead. He's been brilliant over this weekend on this course, but they are sharing the I-time gate. And coming up now, Grace has got to catch him soon. There's a lot more of this lap to go, but as you can see, it doesn't look like the gap is changing at any time. This is on board with Grace. Go right with him! Caught him, under him, past him, goes ahead of him. In the wheel of all places, Martin, my co-commentator, is tense right now, gritting his teeth, arms tightly folded, turning blue. And goes down! Yes, that was absolutely incredible. The pink drone lighting up the salt on the ground there, and Grace is home. Go is still flying. The finisher point that is absolutely essential for Veloce Racing is theirs. Even more essential will be straight out heat points to send them to another grand final. Remember, if they make the grand final, if they beat Apex, they will be definitely third in the World Championship. Otherwise, Maths Champion League return. Go does it.
What a race. Oh my God.
Go gives us a fight all the way there. The points Grace, but Go gave it
I almost
scrap.
I almost couldn't look at it because Dane Grace was taking all the risk in the world, as you can see there. It's the it's the worst spot ever to overtake someone, but Dane just went for it.
Look at it in here.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful flying
Passing
by
him on
Dane
the
Grace.
outside of the big, difficult turn and has got him after the second inside one. This is what it looked like for Go. As they were, the Brightling Gate took him a little bit behind.
Yeah, he was trying to take a lot of risks. It was one of the lines, actually,
Yeah,
that's
it's a wire holding it, isn't it?
keeping the gate up. Yeah, he took a lot of risk there because he wanted to cut that corner as tight as possible because he knew that Dane Grace was in front of him. Was a bit too tight.
Thomas Raffen Larsen roars for Dane Grace. He raced with them in Switzerland. He's here technically helping out the team. Min Jae Kim, brilliant 11-year-old Korean pilot, showing us what fantastic skills he has. Marcus Spooner, our draft pilot through the game.
Yeah, he's
dealing
proving
with this
himself.
like he's just been here all the time.
Yeah, great pilot.
As you can see, our pilots enjoying the racing, and if you come to any of the DCL live events, bring your goggles. You can see the FPV in real time here as well. We, of course, let you do that. So Kim in 1/10 of a second, and Spooner 1/10 behind him. Those are good routes for the wheel. We won't have any overtaking under that yet, so you can breathe, Martijn. We'll go through the I-time split S. Come around the island, and the Spooner is a little bit further behind still. Our 11-year-old is getting it done. Breitling is clean here, and away Hilden. Pull that drone. That Veloce drone had a great overspeed in the straight line. And my gosh, he was tight on the DCL wheel. The speed he took nearly was just cancelled out by an impact on the wheel, but he hasn't got it. That is one for a Spooner, though, on the island, but he is still flying, even though he is 4 seconds behind. Kim, Breitling is clean. There's that straight line again. His teammates can tell him, all right, you've got it. Don't hand it away now, but Min Jae Kim is showing us why he's so great. And I will never grow tired of seeing him celebrate a win. I love it from many of our pilots, but there's something special about an 11-year-old roaring that on a World Championship stage in front of a live audience here and on TV. He's won a race and enjoyed every moment of it.
So much talent. Really smooth lines, and yeah, he can mingle with the best. You know, it doesn't matter. Are you twice my age? Are you 3 times my age? I don't care. You know, he's here to fight, and he did it really well. Espuna is not a weak opponent at all. He knew he had to give it his all, and yeah, well done.
I love the contrast of professional drone racing time and then sheer happy enjoyment of the result of it. You know, it's a beautiful thing, and the DCL has a wonderful history of encouraging young pilots, and indeed, anybody can race in DCL. You've just got to put the time in and be good enough. Obviously, there's skill and natural talent and practice and all of that coming together. We've had 9-year-old pilots, 10, 11-year-old pilots. We had one Raya Wanapong race for us in the 2018 season, and she is the FAI female world champion at the young age of 12. The world champion. But why don't we focus right now on Eric Holden and MCK, who has unbelievably made it out of the block in 1/100th of a second. Flying this course like he's just lived it every day of his life. And Eric Holden, if you're going to chase anyone down, we know you can chase them down. But can you do it to MCK? 19.91 on that turn and around through the wheel. And Eric Holden, you've seen how brilliantly fast he is. You've seen what a competitor he is. This is a testament to Min Jae Kim's skill. As Eric Holden can't catch him. MTK is absolutely flawless. So you calling the machine in chat? I know you do on YouTube and Facebook. You're seeing it again. in a time of 42.18. I think the fastest we've ever had for Eric Holden. Well done. Coming in 43.33. He did not hang about. That is also one of the best times ever in Salina Turda. And yet MCK.
Yeah. Eric, what can you do? What can you do when you fly against MCK, who yeah, just unbelievable skill. Oh, look at how tight that corner is. It's unbelievable. Yeah, you cannot catch a pilot who flies like that. It's just not possible.
He definitely got closer to him. That's a good finish for Eric Holden. In a way, it looked like Holden's win over Mortensen in terms of how close it was, but then you realize MCK is just getting it done. He's phenomenal. If we'd seen more of MCK in our locations this year, then Pilot of the Year would be, I think, for many people just going towards him because it's based on race wins. And he's got a great number of them, MCK, but he wasn't at everything we've done. Drone Champions League in the World Championship Professional Drone Racing Teams on Instagram, live on Facebook and YouTube. Drone Champions L on Twitter as well. I'm Matt Andrews TV on things. Martin?
I'm Martijn on yeah, on Instagram, but the A is a 4. It's like from my old gamer history.
Oh, aren't you modern? Well, 8 FPVs greet us here for the culmination of the semi-finals of the 2019 season. Veloce against Apex. If you are Drone Sports Global, as we had the chat with Thomas Petersons earlier on, they are egging Apex on now. If Veloce go to the grand final, again, Veloce are third in the World Championships. If you are Apex or indeed the Russians, you want Apex to come first, second now. So we fly, everybody attacks it. And it is Dane Grace in the lead at the moment, but he's got purple Veloce drones for company. Are they a team to do the tactics of a team like XBlades? Are they a team who will let Apex have the win and to stop them getting second? I don't think so, and yet 1, 2, 3, 4 are all Apex now. White everywhere in the lead, purple in the latter half of the positions. MCK is going to show us what he can do. He's going to try and pass absolutely everybody. So let's see what he's got. He's diving down to the lake as Apex are all the way around it. And he is starting to pass them. We've come up, it's still first. It's still second Apex, but third of Veloce. And is he going to change it all now? Purple's got up in a second, but first is a win second. And oh my God, what a finish. What an incredible finish.
I see Apex celebrating like they took it, but to be honest, I am not sure. I think they definitely took first. Yep. I'm not sure if they took second.
I think they may have done. That will only even it up on heat points, though. Then finisher points have got to come into this. And with a number of Veloce's pilots finishing, they get finisher points for those. Apex seem very sure they've got it. Veloce are waiting to work this thing out, so we'll have a little bit of a chat between Dane and MCK as to enjoying the racing as they always do.
It's going to be a photo finish.
Remember, this can choose our third place world champion. There's one for Apex.
Two, yeah,
oh.
I think they got it. I think they are right. The pilots usually know, and I think they definitely took first and second.
And you think third may have just been theirs as well? There's almost nothing in it.
Let's take another look at it.
See, I still think third and fifth are Veloce, and fourth and sixth are Apex, and that's a good load of finisher points for them, but I don't think it's enough heat points to secure it. Glenn seems very sure.
It's so close. One.
That makes it 3-2 Veloce. That makes it 3-all.
I think third
it is down
place,
to who is third.
Yeah, third place is Veloce, I would say.
I thought so on that. Wow, this is a phenomenal end to the season, isn't it? So who got that? Would you like to let us know if you think you can work that out? It's not easy to do so. We've got friends with us from France. We've got friends with us from all of the drone racing community. Cyprian, welcome to you. Where are you right now? Cyprian in getting his first taste, I think, of DCL racing action. Well, you've joined us on the final day of the season, my friends, as we are showing you the best in the world.
That is where we have MCK overtaking Eric Holden for that third place.
That's third, isn't it? MCK and Eric Holden, yeah, of course it is those two.
Yeah, MCK at the start of the race, he had a bit of a collision in midair. He had to turn around. He had all of the pilots way ahead of him, but then he turned on MCK mode.
MCK mode. Well, I think
they're looking
it's
at us.
Definitely 2 for Apex. And then Veloce stops them getting third. Now, Veloce don't get a heat point for coming in third. They just stop Apex getting another one. That's going to make it a tie on heat points, 3-all, and that's going to get it to finisher points to work it out from there. And if they're tied, as it was earlier on today between other teams, then it will come down to who was better in qualifying. And that is Veloce. 1 for Apex. The second comes now. The purple LEDs go out on MCK's drone.
But he's definitely in the crash gate.
Yeah, you see it there. I'm pretty sure now, like yourself, Martijn. This is Eric Holden's view of a purple drone in front of him.
So the lights probably go out because he disarmed.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to be Lucas Baumann and his team right now. I'm enjoying the speculation that we get to do, Martijn, along with everybody who's enjoying the racing. Wow.
So if Apex take first and second, then they are tied on heat points.
Absolutely.
And it comes down to finisher points.
Yep. Well done, you've been paying attention all season.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you with me. It is confirmed now that it is first and second only for Apex, not the top 3 that they thought they got. You can't blame them for thinking that they got it after that amazing finish. First and second for Apex. Veloce get third. That stops Apex getting 3. Apex just get 2. It is tied on heat points. Barely could have been any closer between MCK and Eric Holden, but MCK beat him for third. Tied on heat points. Finisher points will settle it. Live to you from 150 meters underground in Salina Turda. You see it here that the pilots respectfully congratulating each other. Finisher points are accumulated from each individual pilot finishing races in training before we go live and in races during the live event. Eric Holden just so fractionally behind MCK for third is why we're in this position now. Remember, if Veloce go to the grand final, they are third in the World Championship. Apex are definitely second. If Veloce don't win this, they're out in the semi-finals, and between them and the Russians and finisher points again, we're to find out who is third. Live on our stage with Chief Judge Lucas Baumann to find out who is our grand finalist and maybe who are our third place in the World Championship.
We are tied on heat points, 3-3. So we have to fall back on the finisher points to make a decision. Apex has 21 finisher points and Veloce Racing has 17 finisher points.
There you have it.
They thought they had it on heat points alone. They thought they'd come in first, second, and third. It was only first and second. It takes it to 3-all. But as you see, Apex and the 4 finishes that they got there are the 4 finisher points that gave them the win. Veloce picked up a couple, of course, and their finishes coming in third and 5th. But Apex were ahead. So if Veloce had got another couple of pilots in, if all of them had finished, it still wouldn't have been enough to close the gap. Apex secure it. Apex go to the grand final. We have an enormous grand final to finish our 2019 season. Veloce and Drone Sports, one of them is third. You'll find out soon, but first with Timothy Trowbridge. So you thought you had that with your teammates, Timothy, and then it gets all numerical. And you do go to a grand final again. How are you feeling right now?
Oh, it feels absolutely amazing. It was such a great race. In the big heat, I think Dane was leading in first place, Mark in second, and I was battling out third. And at first, I thought I had third, so we would have for sure won big heat. But then it turns out I just got slightly behind. But then luckily we won on finisher points. So I'm super stoked.
You get XBlades in the grand final. They're already the world champions and you are runners-up of the world championship, but we have had 4 incredible grand finals between you and your old teammates, no less. So we get another one to round off our season. Is it your day?
We'll give it all we got, that's for sure, and we'll see what happens, but we're stoked to be in the finals and meet XBlades a final time again.
I think it's a wonderful end to our season. I think it's the end the season deserves, and I think it's the end both of you and XBlades deserve. Congratulations, Timothy. Go get ready for the final.
Thank you. Let's go.
And I don't think there are many people who can't enjoy seeing that moment, regardless of which team you support in the DCL, or even if you're brand new to the world of professional drone racing. You can see what it means to these guys who've worked so hard for it. Coming down to these last days of the location, and if Apex had started the season in the way that they have raced in all of our other locations, this World Championship could have been secured by them before we even raced Salina Turda. For the grand final soon, then, XBlades and Apex. When we've had 4 grand finals between those teams this season, 2 of them were won by XBlades, 2 of them were won by Apex. It is set up for the best competition I think we could ask for in a grand final. We will determine who's third in the World Championship on finisher points and bring that to you at the end. But get ready, as Apex and Veloce are in our grand final.
Another look at the pit area with Veloce Racing. They're still talking about that situation that just occurred, about the heat points.
In the pit area, live to you from Salina Turda, there are Veloce Racing going out when they really wish to be in that grand final and everything that would come with it. But XBlades and Apex will race it off for us. As you can see there, such an amazing encounter. We've had so many amazing races today, and indeed throughout 2019. We'll do more of it in 2020, and it will start with the DCL draft. That is where gamers get to race on the professional drone racing teams for real. If you want to be in the 2020 season, your only route to be racing on one of our professional teams is to be picked in the draft. And to do that, you need to be playing this.
I'm not really very nervous to go up and fly with the jet team. I'm just super excited to get up there.
I've always been a bit of an adrenaline freak. I love these things. I think most people who drone race love adrenaline.
I might be a little bit more nervous once I get into the cockpit, but for the moment, I'm just excited to be doing the experience.
You can do anything you want on a drone racer, but you don't feel kind of the physical forces on it, whereas here, every maneuver that you make, you'll feel it in your body.
I think Rich is going to be first to get knocked out, and then Brett throw up.
Racing drones pull way more G's the way they turn and twist. In fact, a human body can't take. I think that's pretty exciting to think of it that way. First exciting sensation, and I looked across at Gary and we both smiled on this, is when you take off, because you really feel the force of the jet engine.
My favourite part of the experience was when we were banked over on 90 degrees and you can see the aircraft underneath you and then you see the ground beneath them, and it's just such an incredible experience.
It's just so beautiful up there to start with. I mean, the view's spectacular, and these guys fly really, really close.
You're close enough that you can see the other person in the other plane's face and kind of what they're doing. It's just the most impressive part.
I think the most exciting part was definitely the maneuvers, you know, when we were pulling the full rolls and we were feeling the full G's.
Amazing. You have to kind of tense your body to not kind of black out. That's kind of something that I've never felt before, I guess.
Awesome. I think if we experience those type of Gs when we're sitting on the stage, then I think you'll probably see 4 passed out pilots on the stage.
We were close to a flock of birds. Maybe the flock of birds would have hit the engine and, you know, you had to pull the ejector seat. At that moment, you're just trying to remember the procedure of what you have to go through to pull the ejector seat, and then, you know, you're up in the air. So obviously, the physical risk to yourself is very different to drone racing, because you know that if things go wrong, you know, you could lose your life. I think the interesting thing about drone racing is your brain is tricked into the same experiences of adrenaline, but at the end of the day, you know, it's a very safe sport.
Pretty insane to kind of be able to see that and kind of feel how close they were together throughout those maneuvers.
When they let us take control of the stick, actually, the banking left and right and the pitching backwards and forwards, it's just identical to flying a drone.
Go, 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 push, yes. Good. Oh, man.
It's great when you take control of the plane, you're actually allowed to fly the jet for a bit, and, you know, gives you the bug. I want to go and get my license out.
You know, being in close formation with planes and all the G-force and the maneuvers, I just love it out there.
I don't think I'm going to ever experience anything like that again for a long time, at least.
And you can see our Korean pilots on the stage. They quite often show that this is a really precious situation. XBlades are used to it, but you can see the pressure is starting to show on their faces as well. It is blue and purple through the setting sun of Switzerland. And you really want to wrap this thing up now rather than rely on a single heat. Kim, Kent, Go, Sun, Bannister, legendary pilots. With Collis and Shake in the fight for this as well. Some of the biggest names in the world of drone racing, all in the air and all still in this race right now. Minchim Kim, MCK is leading it out. Collis may have missed a turn, and that might be a problem for him, but he's so far down the field. Luke Bannister is the one trying to get this done for XBlades right now. It is looking like Go, Kim, Bannister and Sun as this race is coming to its end. Go wins it. Minchim Kim is in second. Luke Bannister is third. Brett Collis has Tomohiko Koyama. That's a quick start for Collis. Usually he's second out of the blocks and he likes to pass people shortly afterwards. He's passed Koyama wherever it happens. And that is very high exit from the Iton gate and a very low exit from the gate, which got Koyama into the lead, and Collis a third of a second behind him. That was brilliant flying from Koyama out of that. Brett Collis will have a view of him now as we head towards the Torino Tower. The big 360 around it, through it, and then back the other way and through it again. Collis is still behind Koyama. We'll get both of them taking the split S. This is great work from Collis. He's not getting past Koyama. He's 1300ths of a second behind. There's a fantastic view of how aggressive they are. This is the last part of the track. Koyama's down. Collis is home. Oh, robbed at the last moment of an amazing fight to the finish of those two. Koyama hit maybe the last obstacle he could have found on our track. His drone looks pretty solid and is being returned. Oh, so close. Them on. These guys were telling me they were driving. Glenn and the others were driving back from a race, watching our Turin races. Pulling over, obviously. Oh no, that's a terrible result for Eric Holden. One of the best pilots we've got here, but being one of the best pilots we've got here, he's recovered it. So, Rafael Strahl's got a head start of 2.16 seconds, and Eric Holden is going to try and close that down. As you see, one comes from Liechtenstein, and the other one heads towards it. Holden recovered that drone after the crash out of the blocks. And he's flying. We're going to have a scrap here. Let's see what he can do. You can see that gap is starting to close already. Over the stage, one down, one up. Strahl coming towards it. Holden's pulled in already. He's taking him into a double skate. 500ths of a second between them. Strahl is back in the lead. Holden's done absolute miracle work to close it. You know he would not say die. And around the Parliament building, they both go, one much wider than the other, and the wider one's got the speed. It's Holden in wide now. Strahl behind him, slipping away. Holden's got to make this finish, and he does. Or does he? Strahl's in. There's a drone on fire on the ground. And that's Holden's drone that's just been put out.
After overtaking...
He's not home, is he?
Look at those sparks flying.
It looked like he went in. The 2019 Championship for Professional Drone Racing Teams. We are the Drone Champions League, DCL. We tour the world, turning incredible locations into unforgettable drone racing tracks with the very best pilots you can find. Salina Turda has been an absolute gift to us. 3 times we've been here, and it is a great place to end our 2019 season. And we take a look in our pit area with Nikolai there of Drone Sports, the Russians. It's been between them and Veloce as to who was going to be 3rd or 4th place. And 3rd in our World Championship is confirmed as Drone Sports from Russia. Both of the teams, between them and Veloce, were in competition for it. Drone Sports were ahead of Veloce before we started racing, and then yesterday Veloce passed Drone Sports. Today they've both gone out in the semi-finals. Who gets the 3rd place and gets 200 points for the season? Who gets 4th and gets 150? Well, that came down to the finisher points acquired by the teams today. Veloce got 17 finisher points. Drone Sports got 18. 1 finish is all that separated these two teams. Because of that, the Russians get 200 points. Veloce get 150. Because of that, Drone Sports move up the leaderboard and beat Veloce by 10 points. The smallest margin you can possibly do in the DCL, and all that separated it was 1 finish today.
Unbelievable. It's really unbelievable, but also good strategy on behalf of the Russian team, because they were playing it safe in the semifinals, and their goal was to get those finisher points and to get finishes. And Veloce, as we just see, made a spectacular performance, but not with finisher points in mind. They had the finals in mind.
Yeah.
So they chose a more aggressive path, and unfortunately, it didn't play out well for them.
No, and that, as you can see, I think, on the faces of Veloce is hard to take. They are despondent now. It's been an incredible season, and they've shown us great racing earlier today, and we're in the grand final of yesterday. But there is just no way of easily taking the smallest margin in season points between you and another team.
Just
because
one
of
finish.
one finisher point today. And arguably, of course, because of all of the action that's happened throughout 2019.
Right.
Those teams, Drone Sports and Veloce, they only ever met in one grand final, and that was day 2 of our season, which Veloce won. They haven't been in any other finals except for yesterday for Veloce as well. So Drone Sports have done brilliantly consistent work because they haven't been picking up big wins. They haven't even been in grand finals, but they have been scoring well in semi-finals the whole season. So Drone Sports are 3rd, Veloce are 4th. Apex in our preparation area getting ready for the grand final. They're the runners-up. XBlades are the world champions. It was decided in this race yesterday. If there are any pilots that can deal with the pressure, you're looking at 8 of them right now, and as all the white and light blue ones make those turns, there's a light blue one hanging around at the back for XBlades. Usually they approach these things, as we talked about with Brett earlier on, they just need to disrupt what their opponents have got to do. But when it's Apex, I think you've got to give them a race to the end, to the front. Holden is up there. Bannister is in 2nd. Grace and Espuna are fighting it out around there as well. Currently it's white, blue and white. It's got to be all 3 whites. You've got to have Holden, Espuna and Trowbridge. Grace is done. Timothy Trowbridge is out as well. Holden and Espuna are still flying along with all 4 of the XBlades drones. Into the win. It's Brett Collis. Mark Espuna comes in 2nd, but the rest of the light blue drones finish for XBlades. With that, Brett Collis and his team are the 3-time world champions. I don't know who that is. He talks a lot. Well, we have the team owners there, Richard and Glenn of XBlades and Apex, respectively, as our teams await to come onto the stage for the grand final. What a season it has been. I'd love to tell you as well that there's a little bit of another competition going on too for Pilot of the Year. And a lot of these pilots are in contention of it. For that, we're talking about who's won the most points for their team, whether it's single heats or big heats. And currently in the lead for it are Luke and Brett of XBlades. Right behind them, oh, their teammate, Killian. Eric and Dane are one behind him too. Those 5 pilots can all get to be Pilot of the Year. But Luke and Brett have a good lead between them. So, from our races, Brett Collis was Pilot of the Year in 2017. He could be it again in 2019. Well, let's look back over the history of the Grand Champions that we've had and the World Finals. Our trophy there started off with our first team season in 2017 and then was tripped over by a Mac, but I'll never let him forget that. That is at Station Berlin when we concluded our 2017 season. Great scenes there. Starting in 2018 as they finished 2017 only a little bit wetter. XBlades took the win on our first race in the Munich Olympic Park and threw themselves into the Olympic Lake. That's never seen that sort of action since 1972. And then the season was good for them, but they had a huge challenge from the Americans at Quad Force 1, who were runners-up when it came to an end in Rapperswil, Switzerland, and that legendary picture of Brett getting absolutely drenched race after race after race. Few of the audience members won't forget that either, because they got it too. But here it is, Luke and Brett. And they know, because I had a chat with them before any racing happened yesterday and said, by the way, you two are right up there in terms of Pilot of the Year. I didn't give them any numbers, but that has been in their minds. And I know from hearing what I've heard today, they are intentionally racing each other. They both want to get that name.
Yeah, I may or may not have mentioned it as well to them.
Well, I am glad, because I want to see them fight for it. So it's our last set of races then for 2019. I'm sad now. I might not stop, to be honest. When we've done the race today, I might just carry on. Is that all right with everybody? I've got the key to the commentary cabin. You can't stop me! Well, it is XBlades at Apex in our final, and this is really the best way we could end the season. The #1 and #2 in the World Championship this year. A team who've won it every season and a team who nearly got it from them in 2019. Thanks to everybody who's joined us all over the world for all of our races. It's such a pleasure getting to talk about these amazing pilots for you all, wherever we've been, wherever you've joined us from all over the planet. Here are the best pilots in the world. Brett Collis, 3-time world champion. Gary Kent, 3-time world champion. Luke Bannister, 4-time DCL world champion. And Killian Rousseau, a new DCL world champion. They are XBlades Racing. Dominic, so incredible performance from all of you again and again. It doesn't matter whether the pressure is on or whether you're having fun. It seems to all be the same for all of you. It's another race now, but gloves are off. You're first, Apex is second. Time to let everybody have some fun and show us what they've got.
Absolutely, time to really have fun. We had this battle a lot of times during this season. I always really enjoyed it to fly against Apex, and we're really excited what the outcome of the race will be. Good luck to Apex.
We saw a shot of you just now back in Munich, actually, XBlades, when you threw yourselves into the Munich Olympic Lake, and there are some people watching who want to know if you're going to throw yourselves into the Salt Lake when you've won it today.
I really would love to do it, but the gap is so high, so I think the risk is quite a bit high. Yeah, we're going to have a small party tonight, I guess.
Yes, there'll be a small party tonight. There's also a lift down to the lake. Someone's showing where it is. Anyway, so that is XBlades Racing, and here are 4 other incredible best-in-the-world pilots. Dane Grace, Marcus Spooner making a huge impact in his first appearance in DCL. Timothy Trowbridge, who's given us some unforgettable experiences in 2017 and 2018. Eric Holden, giving us heart-in-mouth moments again and again and again. Glenn, congratulations again, runners-up on the World Championship. I know you wanted first, and it was so nearly yours. But second is an amazing performance for you. What do we get from your pilots now?
Yeah, just as I've said before, all gloves are off. We're just going to send it.
I know you will. Good luck. Can't wait for this finish. Let's get it into the air. The big finale of DCL for 2019. I can't wait to get it done. I can't wait to see it fly. Don't really want it to finish. That's the absolute truth of this. Well, here it comes, and thank you to everybody who's watching with us, wherever you've been, and to all the fun and all the support you've given us here at the DCL. We have loved being the live drone sport. Always live, all over the planet to you, celebrating the drone racing community. Let's do this with Gary Kent and Timothy Trowbridge first. 100ths of a second, fitting start for 2 incredible pilots who used to race together, and we've seen them fight so many times. Trowbridge has the lead over Kent on the first approach for the wheel and on the exit for it. Kent goes left, Trowbridge goes right. We've seen that again and again with XBlades and Apex. But together around the island, and Trowbridge has got the better of the climbs out of that. We know how quick the Dragonfly drone in light blue is, but the white Apex drone is not slow. Trowbridge still has the lead. Gary Kent can see him. He's going to attack him on that bit. Was right underneath him. And they keep flying, but Trowbridge has crashed it. Maybe in mid-air. We'll have another look at it again. Gary Kent is going to come home. That race is already over. I would love all of these to run 2 to finish, but we don't get that in the first one. And when these 2 pilots have met 3 times already in grand finals this season, Gary had won 2 out of 3. 3 out of 4. At least it's not in the salt.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. Not that he will need it later on tonight. Great racing by Timothy. To be honest, I'm also surprised that we didn't see more pilots hit this part of the track, because there are some lights here on the right side on wooden poles, and unfortunately Timothy Trowbridge clipped it dead on.
So with that, Gary picks up his 16th win in single heats this season. Fantastic, amazing work from him, along with all of the other XBlades racing pilots. They're all in contention for Pilot of the Year. Luke Bannister is leading the charge alongside Brett for that title. Dane Grace is in the fight too. He's currently on 16 wins this season. 13 in single heats, 3 in big heats. He's got Luke Bannister now. Bannister and his teammate Gary Kent have been the best in single heats all year. Kate's got another one to his name. Let's see what Bannister can do here. He was slightly behind Dane Grace earlier on, but he has passed him already now. Diving down to the right-time gate. Again, it seems XBlades have decided the left approach is going to be how they do it. The right side for Apex again, and Grace is a long way behind him now. He's still fighting his way back out of that chamber, and he's made it. But Bannister is the Bannister we know and love. Look at him go. We've talked a little bit about how he hasn't been the absolute 100% fastest pilot we know he can be, and yet this is him sending it now. Grace is done. Bannister is going to come around and show us really what he can do here. There's no sign of him slowing down, despite the heat point definitely being his. That's 43.37. It's Luke Bannister, ladies and gentlemen. Another win for him. 17 single heat wins this season, 4 in big heats.
Dane Grace here was a little bit, it was the same mistake that we saw Timothy Trowbridge make in the semifinals. He was cutting that last corner too tight down near the lake. This was in the second lap because he was still able to fly in the second lap. Again, a little bit of a struggle down near the lake, clipping the Breitling gate.
2-0 to XBlades. We've been here before. Brett Collis tied with Luke on heat point wins until Bannister just got one more. Brett absolutely brilliant in big heats, wins a lot of single heats too. Marcus Spooner looks like he's raced against World Championship teams every day. But that is not the picture he wants to be greeted with. We've had a great time of it here in Salina Turda, not many problems technically. That is live to you with what is Mark's view in those FPV goggles that he's holding and doesn't really want to put back on right now. He's going to put them back on and be disappointed that it still looks like that. So, power cycling his quad while Brett looks ready to fly as always. While we have a moment here, I want to thank all the pilots of all the teams who've given us so much excitement all over the world. I'll start with the China Dragons. They're here with Dennis Hockman, Karl K. Leung, Ronnie Chow, and Daniel Ayer. But I want to mention Yannick Henschel, Ken Inway, and Haihom Shah, who've raced for them as well this season. Axel Mario Christopher Lenkong from Indonesia, who isn't here, but is great seeing him always racing for DMM Raiden Racing alongside Ben Motens and Tomohiko Koyama, Yasuyuki Harima, and Rudy Browning. The Americans of Alex Campbell, Evan Turner, Corey Ibanez, and Soren Monroe Anderson. We know Quad Force 1 will return, and we'll love to ever see those pilots fly wherever it is. Veloce Racing, here with Young Rock's sons, Youngmin Go, Min Jae Kim, and Min Chan Kim. They're going to be bruised after not being the third place in the World Championship, but they've been so exciting alongside Ethan Kling and Yun Yong Ho. It is DSG, Drone Sports Global from Russia, with the unstoppable Pavel Leshak, Thomas Petersons, Konstantin Kosolopov, and Platon Maximov, who get third in our season. That just leaves Apex and XBlades, and it's still fighting time. 1/100th of a second between two pilots again. You just get it again and again and again, and Martin's gritting his teeth as he's watching these pilots attack. Collis and his Spooner dive down to the lake, and Collis is a long way ahead now. Spooner's going to have to use all of his skills on knowing this track so well through our simulator. He's really going to have to pull something special out of the bag to chase down somebody with that kind of a gap, if that man is Brett Collis. Over the amphitheater we go, and he's found another half a second ahead of his Spooner, and Collis goes for his dive down to the lake in his final single heats of the year. Around the island, this is looking like a guaranteed single heat point for him, as well as he's put another half a second and more between him and his Spooner. This is dominating stuff from XBlades. Around over the amphitheater and under the wheel he'll go with the one big turn and the one tight turn. We've seen this again and again. It is never a problem finishing for Brett Collis. The Spooner comes in with good speed, but a big gap. Collis takes it for XBlades again. He's still tied with Luke as the best here. He knows. He's looking at Luke. He knows.
Yeah, Brett Collis just unstoppable. He's been flying so consistent this entire season. It's not just about skill, but it's also about delivering on the moments that matter. And yeah, he's proving it time and time again that he's the right man to do it.
Well, when we do our single heats, we line up our pilots in terms of qualifying times. So the slowest for each team respectively race each other in single heat 1, and then we go to the next and the next. That means for single heat 4, and the last single heat of 2019, we have the fastest in qualifying for XBlades and the fastest in qualifying for XBlades. It is Eric Holden. It is Kylian Rousseau. They've raced once. Rousseau lost to Holden, but it was a thrilling encounter right to the end. And we attack it, and Holden has the better of the start, but it doesn't look like it anymore. Rousseau's in front of him, Holden passes him. You know this is going to go back and forth. Holden's got the lead, Rousseau's got the turn. Holden attacks the dive, he's both going right this time. Holden in front of Rousseau, 500ths of a second between them, and now between the Iceland gates. Holden leaves Rousseau on this bit and is pulling away on the straight, but Rousseau's got the turns. It looks like Holden's got the straights. Rousseau's got the turn on that one, but he hasn't caught Holden yet. To the lake. Holden in front of Rousseau around the islands. They've got to make this climb now, and Rousseau's got to catch him. Rousseau's got Holden in front of him. The outside gate, he had him there, but they're still behind. Holden and Rousseau, it comes out of the final turn. It's Holden over Rousseau.
Oh man, what a great race.
You've got to love what Holdox gives us every time.
Yeah, he's such a great pilot. As you can see, they're vertically flying next to each other the entire time. Kylian Rousseau there showing some amazing tight cornering, but he just could not catch Eric Holden, who did not make any mistakes. Very tight over that edge there, and still Holden in front of him. Yeah, Kylian Rousseau is giving it his best, but it's just not enough. Very, very nice race.
Early on in that, it did seem that every time it came to a tight turn, Kylian caught him. But later on, no more. Now that is actually tied Eric with Kylian on wins.
Really?
They're both on 17
Yeah, they are
now.
well matched.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, drone racing fans, and welcome newcomers. It is time for our very last race of 2019. It is big heat time, all 8 of these incredible pilots. Gary Kent, Luke Bannister, Brett Collis and Kylian Rousseau, the 3-time Team World Champions. Timothy Trowbridge, Dane Grace, Marcus Spooner, Eric Holden, runners-up in the World Championship. All of them are going to fly now in the last race of 2019. We love that you join us with all of these incredible races. Thank you, everybody who watches and supports the DCL. This is what it's all about. Live drone racing, the real live sport of drone racing. That is DCL. That is what we bring you in incredible locations like Salina Turda. The best in the world. Savor this moment, everybody. We will be back in 2020 with the DCL draft, giving gamers a chance to race on our drone racing teams, and then more incredible spots around the world are going to see them fly. I won't tell you where yet. Keep in touch with us. All the announcements coming in 2020. An amazing season to look forward to. One more race before then. All pilots ready.
10 seconds countdown.
Goggles down and the 10-second countdown to the final race of 2019. Watched on by Drone Sports, by Quad Force One, by China Dragons. Everybody here. And we fly! And yeah, some crashing action earlier on as Rousseau and this Bruno are out of it, and Grace is trying to fight back into this. Holden is flying, Trowbridge is flying, Bannister and Kent are all flying. Bannister and Kent, well. The lead currently is Apex's and Timothy Trowbridge. He'd love to beat out his old team in the last race of the season. Gary Kent and Bannister are fighting in this too. Of course, Eric Holden wants a piece of this. We've got 5 pilots still in the air. And Bannister is down. It is just Gary Kent against almost all of Apex. Trowbridge, Kent, Holden. Trowbridge is home. Holden is home in front of him. And is there anything more fitting, I think, than a grand final between pilots in his caliber, tying it on heat points on a day where that has been so dramatic again and again. Dane Grace is still on his second lap.
Yeah,
he's flying around the island now. The last look of Salina Turda is his.
Dane's camera angle is a bit messed up because of the mid-air earlier. That's why he's flying so slow.
You can hear it in his props as well. He is appreciating the beauty of Salina Turda at his own speed right now. A world championship of incredible speed is slowing to its end. Take your time, Dane. It is done. Look at how happy they are. And one of the reasons they're going to be so happy about that is because finisher points are going to settle it today.
Again.
And so that one might be the one. Wow. We're thinking Eric may have got the win there. Here's the Spooner's view before his race came to an end. Martin, take us through the last race.
Yeah, well, we see Brett hitting the lamp as well. That's only the second time that happened, and he saved it all for the final race. See some onboards here. Eric Holden and Timothy were leading the pack. This might be him going to the finish gate. Yep, there we have it.
He tucked it in to save his props. There was no need for that right at this stage.
And Timothy was very close behind him. So they took 2 heat points.
And tied it up.
Tied it up, yeah. So both teams have 3 heat points.
This start was carnage, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's always, you know, these big heats, there's so little room. And it's just so crowded in the air. And usually what happens is that teams either fly offensively or defensively, and if they do it defensively, they usually have 1 or 2 pilots that wait a little bit. Yeah. But now they just all went balls to the wall.
I mean, normally in a competition like that, you would see XBlades holding it back, but
Exactly.
Lucas Baumann will settle the final competition for us.
The final is tied 3-3 on heat points, so we have to fall back on finisher points for the decision. XBlades Racing 22 finisher points, Apex Racing 25 finisher points.
The final Drone Grand Prix of the year is Apex's!
That's so nice.
One more time, they say, of course, one more time, as they close the gap on XBlades in the leaderboard, but it's out of reach.
Yeah, you know, Apex, coming into this season, everyone had their eyes on, obviously, XBlades, but they also had their eyes on Valache, they had their eyes on Quad Force 1, and no one really was focusing on Apex, and Apex really proved everyone wrong. They just did a tremendous job, not just by winning this final race, but also the season standings results.
We'll talk to XBlades in a moment, but we want to give Apex their time, as they are the champions of today. We've got Glenn and the guys. Apex, I see Richard congratulating you like the sportsman he is. That win looked like the World Championship for you. You're celebrating that like it means everything, and we love to see it. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, so we really wanted to beat XBlades this time. So even though the championship was finished, we just really wanted this win. And we got it, so we're just so happy.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
Mark, welcome to the DCL. You've made a huge impact on your first time with us. Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Like, I've never done anything like this.
And the DCL draft has obviously been a huge success for you, bringing into our drone racing. We'll look forward to seeing what Apex does next year. Can we pass the mic along and just have a chat with your colleagues? Timothy, you beat them.
Yes, finally. Yeah, we're a bit unlucky yesterday, so we really wanted to have a shot again today, and we did it again, same as Veloci in the Big Heat. It's just amazing. We're so happy.
Thomas, you weren't flying today, but you did race for them in Lax in Switzerland. It's been a big change in season since then. You proud of your guys?
Yeah, I'm super, super proud of my team, and being here for the past couple of days and just supporting them, like morally and technically, it's been a huge pleasure for me, and I'm so proud of my boys.
Of course. Dane, you're always happy, aren't you? But this one means a lot.
Yeah, right now I'm definitely happy. So yeah, just amazing. A comeback twice in a row in semis and finals. Yeah, it makes it even better. So let's go for the first place next year.
Yes, we'll look forward to seeing what you as a team can do. Eric, I mentioned earlier on about the Pilot of the Year standings. I tell you now, you're third in wins for Pilot of the Year, but you are the best in big heats.
Yeah.
When
Nice.
everyone is flying, you win more of them than anybody else. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
What is it about big heats that you like so much?
I think some of the nerves are out of my body after the single hit. So yeah, I fly better when I'm not so nervous, and the big hit like suits me. I think so.
Yeah, well, racing suits you, as you've also given us incredible races in single heats again and again, and we've seen many of that this weekend. Apex, congratulations! What a lovely end to the season.
So nice, yeah. I'm so happy for these guys, and they really deserved it. They fought for it, you know. It's not easy to come back and win once you're behind on heat points after the single heats. And they did it not just once, not just in this final, but also in semifinals. Amazing stuff.
Apex winning it out today and getting 250 points there, and had the season maybe got off to a quicker start for them a little bit more earlier on. Maybe the World Championship title would have been theirs. It's going to be very close at the top, but it is XBlades who secured it yesterday. There they are, the four incredible pilots. Congratulations, guys, the world champions again and again and again. How do you do it?
Well, we've just put in a lot of hard work this season. It's been a really tough, it's a really long season, really tough season. We've just put in as much hard work as we can, and you know, we've came out on top.
And of course, you've all been racing together for a long time, but Killian, new to the team this year, your first World Championship with XBlades. How do you feel right now?
I can't say that, it's just amazing. Je suis baguette.
Yes, of course. Hashtag baguettes. I know the French community well. Brett, you did it. Has it sunk in? I know it hadn't yesterday.
Yeah, I think so a lot more now. I think kind of the pressure was off today, so it's fun just to fly, kind of enjoy ourselves. We had some amazing battles, some amazing races, which I think was the main thing. And yeah, the big heats are insane.
Yeah. And Luke, you are the only four-time DCL champion. XBlades winning it every season. You helping the team in 2017, 18, and 19. And, of course, the 2016 season of just 2 individual races. That was yours as well. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's been amazing to, you know, be on top and stay on top for so long, along with my teammates. We've all put in a lot of effort, and yeah, I'm just super happy we managed to do it again.
I've got one more thing for you. You know you were all in contention for Pilot of the Year. Before we started racing yesterday, Luke was on 16 wins, and you were all otherwise on 12. But there's been a lot of racing since we started yesterday. Luke and Brett, you are tied for Pilot of the Year on 21 wins each.
Let's go.
Brett, you got 15 singles and 6 big heat wins, just beaten by Eric in big heats. Luke, the best in single heats. 17 of them are yours and 4 big heats. 21 each of you, part of the domination of XBlades. Congratulations, guys. Brett and Luke, both Pilot of the Year. Nice. Nice.
That's
so excited.
Just casually, what, Pilot of the Year?
Okay, yeah, sure.
Nice. Hashtag forget. Wow, guys. Wow, racers. Wow, everybody. As we get our stage ready to make it all official with shiny things and spraying things, and we do love a bit of that when it comes to the end of DCL. It is time to say thank you to all the people who make this work, to all of the hard-working people of DCL and all of our suppliers from TV and everything in between who make this thing happen. Thank you to all of the volunteers as well. Everywhere we go around the world with our live drone racing events, volunteers come and help us, and we can't do it without them. We can't do it without an enormous people beautiful behind the scenes that you never get to see in a live event. And thank you for all of our runners, our crew who work so hard building these tracks and will be taking it down tonight while the pilots are celebrating the action that we've done. We couldn't do it without an incredible team around the world. Thank you to all of them. Thank you to all of the pilots who I've mentioned already. I've named many of them, but I don't want to leave anybody out at all. For XBlades, of course, Brett with Gary, Luke and Killian, and Heiko Schenku raced for them back in Lax and Switzerland. And Apex coming in second today with Trowbridge, Grace, Holden and Ispuna. But Oscar Nielsen, Noah Koch, Thomas Raff and Larson, who we saw on stage, Marcel Gregor have also raced for them this year. It looks like Evan Turner is ready to help us start taking Salina Turda down. So I don't expect to see you at the after party, Evan. We'll just see you get your hands dirty as we start dismantling gates. All of these pilots have been absolutely phenomenal. Thank you to all of them and their team owners. Everybody we see here as well who've worked so hard. And this wonderful audience who've joined us here in Salina Turda and wherever you are watching around the world. YouTube and Facebook, we are always live. That is how drone racing should be done, and we are the live drone racing championship. Paul wants to see us back in Romania again. Well, we would love to come back. It is such an incredible location, but we have brilliant places to race in for 2020. The World Championship for teams will be back there again, and maybe Salina Turda will see us for a fourth time. Today's racing here, the Drone Grand Prix of Salina Turda, in third place, Drone Sports of Russia. One finisher point more than Veloce secured them the third place here. And as a team, their third place of this Drone Grand Prix will be celebrated with them. Herbert Viorata, I believe, is here. The CEO and founder of DCL will be doing the prize giving today to our third place team, with pilots from Latvia, Poland and Russia, Drone Sports. And now, runners-up in today's racing, they are XBlades Racing. Proudly representing the UK and France, the pilots of XBlades Racing, runners-up in today's action. Their prize being handed again by Herbert Viorata. Runners up today, XBlades Racing! And enjoying their win on the top stage of the podium over XBlades, it's Apex! Timothy Trowbridge, Dane Grace, Marcus Spooner, Eric Holden winning the Drone Grand Prix today. And the big prize of today's action. Congratulations again, our Scandinavian friends winning this Drone Grand Prix. Apex Racing! Everybody always wants to get a hand on that trophy when it's Apex. This one's big enough for them all to do so. Martin, that was a really deserved win today.
Absolutely, it was. Yeah, they really fought for it, and it's amazing to see how these talented guys just came out of nowhere and really put their mark on this season.
So, after the congratulations for that, we have the not insignificant matter of officially presenting a World Championship to a very deserving team. So congratulations for today to Drone Sports, XBlades and Apex, but I think you'll be seeing them again very soon, as the season has culminated like this. A hugely dominant season for XBlades, finishing 260 points over Apex, which is why they couldn't be reached yesterday, making them the reigning, retaining world champions. Apex could have lost second place earlier on today, but they only had to score anything to secure it. They did, but look at that between Drone Sports and Veloce, 10 points in it. The smallest of margins, the toughest to take. China Dragons complete the season in 5th on 360, as they were deemed to come in 5th today of the teams who lost the quarterfinals, so they picked up 80 more. Quad Force 1 have 220 from the season. And we have to talk about DMM Raiden Racing, who do end the season, sadly, with nothing at all. For the Drone Champions League and the World Championship for professional drone racing teams, we welcome back our 3rd place team, Drone Sports. Pavel Leshak, Platon Maximov, Thomas Petersens and Konstantin Kosolopov, congratulations to you. 3rd in the World Championship, they are Drone Sports. Fighting to the very end to secure that spot. Congratulations to them. Commiserations to Veloce. On to 2nd place, the runners-up of the World Championship with Timothy Trowbridge, Dane Grace, Marcus Spooner, Eric Holden, and the team. Runners-up are Apex. And I've said it throughout the season, we've been here before when we see them racing well. We have been here before every single time. Ladies and gentlemen, the world champions, XBlades! Brett Collis, Gary Kent, Luke Bannister, Killian Rousseau, with Harry Plestin, Dominic Rock, Richard Diarriguez is there as well. Every single time, again and again, they retain and they re-win the undisputed best team in the world, our XBlades Racing! 2017 champions, 2018 champions, and 2019 world champions, XBlades! I believe I've just seen Dominic hiding behind a trophy. Throw that man in a salt lake. It is theirs again. It never gets old seeing them celebrate. It never gets old seeing them fight again and again all over the world. Here we are again, and look at the happy faces on all sides of that stage. And I think many of these pilots have a lot to be pleased about this season. It is going to hurt right now for some of them in particular, as they could have been here celebrating that. XBlades do it again, and I don't think there can be any question as to how incredible they are, and indeed the teams alongside them and everybody who races in the DCL. And they do love to get a bit wet. Martin, we didn't know it would turn out like this at the start of the season. We really didn't know that it would definitely be theirs again. First times we saw them racing, it started well, but it wasn't all theirs.
Yeah, and yeah, to conclude for me, I feel that the sport is really maturing. You know, it's getting more and more professional. And again, putting that in perspective, my hats off to XBlades, because they started off with a talented group of pilots a few years ago, but it's not just about talent, you know. Nowadays it's also about hard work and about putting in the effort, and also make sure that the drones work. And that's also the edge that they had this season.
Yeah, they do make that work for them again and again, and that's something the other teams have got to replicate.
Yeah, but also what I loved, and I mentioned it earlier, is that Apex, no one had their eyes on them. You know, it's a new group, new pilots, a lot of new faces, and it also shows the amount of talent that's still out there. And for looking at 2020, I would love to see those undiscovered, new talented pilots come and join us, you know. And I think the way to join this competition is becoming more and more easy and transparent as well with DCL the game. So I absolutely love where this is going.
Absolutely, yes. Well said, Martijn. Well said indeed. You're right about Apex. We knew it would be a good team because Timothy Trowbridge had joined them. We know he wouldn't do that if they weren't a good team, having previously raced for the World Champions when they were known as XBlades. Yeah, their season grew and grew and grew. It could only be closer, I think, between all of these teams next year. We will return in 2020 with the live celebration of drone racing that we are, the Drone Champions League. Martijn de Kemp, thank you so much, my good friend. It is always a pleasure having you here.
It was an honor, thanks.
Shout out to Andre Krasny, who was also my commentator in crime earlier on this season. We love you, Andre, and I know you've been enjoying the racing too. Thanks for your support during the first part of the season. I've been Matt Andrews. It is my true heartfelt pleasure. I love doing this so much, talking about the best in the world to you who are watching. What better job could there be? From all of us at DCL, we hope you've enjoyed our live celebration of sport with the best pilots in the world and the best tracks you could find. Can you race in better locations than the Great Wall of China, than the Eiffel Tower, than here underground or on top of a mountain? I don't think so. And yet, in 2020, we have incredible races to show you again. From all of us here at DCL, thank you for watching. We wish you a Merry Christmas. DCL the game will be with us from the 28th of January, so a late Christmas present to you. Get that, get involved. As Martijn said, maybe we will see, talk, and celebrate you as a drone racer on a professional team next year. That is DCL the game. You're rooting to this, but from all of us here, thank you for watching. Merry Christmas and congratulations. Maybe forever unstoppable XBlades.